set, so it's good to see that going. Land Crabs, by the way, pretty much another established team. One player Corbett from Ink Floyd is joining this squad, so I think for a leadoff matchup here in Lowing, this should be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Just looking at the maps right here as well, we have Splatzone's Hagglefish Market here, you know, a pretty standard staple here for starting sets off pretty strong here as well. And, you know, just, we've talked about Haggle like so many different times. Is there really anything else to add to this?
If you've been around the block in Splatoon 3 it's been 3 years since this game has been released, you will know full well it's Hagglefish Market Zone. I call this the fundamentals map now that we're in year 3 Neptune. There's really nothing much to add. It's basically, this is going to be a test of each team's fundamentals, both at an individual level and at a team level, because you're gonna see this map all the time. Especially Neptune, if you look closer into the rest of the Play All 3 maps here, Makomar, Target Troll, and Scorch Gorge Rainmaker. I mean, this entire map list is just pure fundamentals to start.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's like generally a really good thing just for like starting off the day. Just like, okay, let's build up our fundamentals. Maybe we'll dive into a little bit more unconventional stuff later as well. But this first set here is going to be coming down to who plays their game right, who plays their cards down. There's nothing really gimmicky or like a crucial area as well. Obviously, these maps have their power positions, but Haggle, it's generally just like trying to stay inside the core area as well while you hold that zone. And I'm curious to see how both these teams will be able to do it here, Keon.
Especially with the first matchup here leading off Low Ink and Neptune. You've been in this situation. I'm trying to remember, you got Low Ink, not eligible for Low Ink is, I guess, the alternate phrase, or officially Low Ink banned last year, I believe. So you know the importance of a great first start to the set, and especially with both teams already about to load up here, which we're going to get to see Land Crabs in the Alpha side. Bravo's side is going to be Angelic or Angelink. We're going to get to see how these weapons play off. Already third kits are shown across the board here, Neptune. What strikes out to you?
Yeah, so we obviously have the Frozen Pro out here being the cooler anchor, as opposed to like the usual pencil as well. And then we have the Frozen Pro here for the missile play. I actually really like this pick as well, because missiles will always be able to move people across that zone as well. And you definitely see it's a bit of a scramble already, just trying to go back and forth. Who can put out the paint here? But it's going to break after the first picks coming out here as well, and specials are already being tossed out here, Keon.
Yeah, specials already being tossed out here. 2-for-2 trade on both teams right away, but Angelic is going to be the ones that are going to come out here with the advantage. It's going to be Goals taking out Yang, then that will be the delayed trade. This is going to be the delayed wipes. That's going to be the advantage being pushed forward for Angelic coming up here as the Zuka almost lands perfectly onto the player that's hovering around the canopy, but that's going to be just enough pressure for Angelic to continue to strike. BB with the jumps here, and Neptune, this is just a great start right away for Angelic, and they might be able to hold. They definitely will be able to hold now.
Yeah, definitely. 3 massive picks right here. It's just the jetpack online here as well, with only 30 ticks remaining here. Just Land Crabs needs to find a way forward. You see the jetpack at top right here as well as Wendigo trying to push up here as well. We do see 2 picks to be able to push this zone here as well. It's that unfortunately get caught out here in a wipeout. Land Crabs are still in this beautiful push starting with that jetpack.
Crucial hold there too. You got the picks that were about to fall suit. That would have been the door slammed shut on Land Crabs to start, but they were able to hold successfully here. Angelic are going to have to respawn, but they do have a great lead right away. But the problem is, that is going to be a Land Crab's going to be getting the first chance to strike while they don't have any penalty points on the board. So if Land Crabs keeps this up, they might be able to swipe lead in the other direction. So far, the Land Crabs has been facing a lot of pressure from Angelic so far, and they are going to have to give up the zone most likely if they lose 2 by themselves here. Neptune, we stand 60-10 on points remaining. Angelic gets the zone back.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit of a tough situation to be in if you are Land Crabs, just being consistently found out by both the Carbon Roller as well as the various other weapons. I noticed Goat was on that shot right there, putting in a lot of work, putting a lot of pressure. 10 missiles all on this ball point right here. You do not want that ball point on zone right here, but hey, you do have to clear some other members out, which is exactly what Land Crabs does here. Slowly putting up the pressure here. The zone is still unpainted, but I think there are other members coming in here are going to clean it up. There we go. Okay, back to this neutral state right here. Now Land Crabs will be finding a way to set up a lockout of their own here, Keon.
Yeah, able to push forward. They're going to be focused on that lockout. They got Yang by the way, that had the Carbon Roller trying to surprise Land Crabs, but the game shut down. And this is going to be a lot of pressure from Land Crabs that they can take advantage of, especially now that they're out of the penalty points. Could be very dangerous news here for Angelink, certainly now, as they lose to just the Bloblobber and the ball point still alive, so just the backline available, so they're going to need to put a lot of paint for Yang to do their work on the Carbon Roller, and that's also going to be the V-Shot effectively going to be coming out of respawns here. 20 points remain, and that's ballpoint. That's the shot drops. This is going to be the imminent lead change, possibly the KO coming up here, and it certainly will be the KO, as that's the wipe out there. Land Crabs holding firm despite the slow start, and they're going to take home game one of this play all three.
This first game right here is the epitome of no lead is safe. So this is why we play it out till the end right here. Land Crabs certainly struggled a bit at the beginning, as you said earlier there. They were struggling to find their footing right here, but they managed to break through consistently and find ways to get Angelink on the back foot right there, getting some crucial picks as well and forcing them to make plays they were not quite comfortable or confident in making, and punish that accordingly. Just wow. Just, you love to see a team come back from behind and take home the first game in this play all three set.
I tell a lot of teams, especially the ones I've played with, probably with a small sample size, of course, to just wait until the clock hits zeros or when we get to see the tape that says game at the end. And that's just a testament to Land Crabs able to stay persistent as a team, especially. With the way they played, also getting key shutdowns on Yang, and they also took out the hero shot replica is what I was thinking of as well, which was a good majority of their front line. Because they were stuck with the Bloblobber and the ballpoint at the back. So once those two went down, they just didn't have enough firepower to sustain or get the fight back there too. So I mean, that's a great comeback from Land Crabs. And I mean, for Angelink, I think Neptune, you can say it in this position 1-0 down in Lowing, still no reason to panic. You got Milkyway tower control coming up, and I imagine Angelink will just need to tune some things up coming up here.
Yeah, for sure. I've been in this position before where like we got a bit of a rough start a lot of the times about being a tournament player as well. Just, you definitely just have those games where just like, we almost had that, but like we just unfortunately did some things wrong here as well. If I'm Angelink right now, I'm just probably talking with my team right now, just probably thinking about like, okay, we had that there. What happened, right? So because this is a close set in the sense of both these teams are able to push into each other. There is a push and pull dynamic in the sense of one team can get some explosive offense, some other team can just get some really solid defense. And that's going to come to a boil here on Tower Control Mako Mark, where I think defense is so important by holding through that second checkpoint area.
Kind of alluding to your previous experience, because you've definitely been in the Low Ink Road once, many times actually. Again, I try to recall it was last year that you got your certificate.
Yes.
With the team. I mean, for any team starting off in the first set of the day, you're starting off like this is the first play all three set out of 6 they have to play throughout the day. How much does this first set kind of matter for any team coming in?
I think it matters a lot for just getting the snowball rolling, right? A lot of the times, like, especially if you're looking to take home the crown on the, for the entire tournament, which is no easy
day 2,
feat.
yep.
Yeah, done day 2, right? You need to obviously play out of your mind for day 1, have a lot of stamina, look forward to, and find different ways to just stay calm, especially when things get tense. Because even if you get a game, like, or even if you go 2-0 or like 1-1, right, that's still like a thing that's counting against your overall win percent record. And we know me in tiebreakers. Yep. Sometimes they can be you can just make it through because you just barely pass the check mark right there, or sometimes you just barely don't make the mark. But you know what? Game number 2 starting out here, we already see some weapon swaps here, Keon. And the thing that's standing out to me is the new sticker stamper with the Booyah Bomb and Auto Bomb coming out here.
I love this weapon for a majority of reasons. It controls the area you need to work through. You also have, even if you have the Auto Bomb there in place, the Booyah Bomb is also nice, especially for Land Crabs. I will likely be using it as a GG special if they need to. So this is just an interesting dynamic you get to see with the stampers. Also, what I think I call it a flexible change, because they also had the vanilla stamper from the previous game so far. And Jones wants to just not have to deal with it whatsoever, because they, once again, just like the previous game, they're starting this one off very strong. They got the first checkpoint already cleared, and it's going to be Golos here going to be looking to paint a little bit forward, but they're going to get shut down right around that first checkpoint. All it stands here, Neptune, just the 61 points remaining. Solid start overall for Angelink.
Yeah, Angelink has been having some really good starts here as well, but have been kind of fizzling out when trying to take over the more high ground positions as well. I feel like they get a little antsy with the openings here as well, but you can definitely see Landcrabs definitely structuring their push really well, getting a lot of pressure on that top left, and Pencil capitaling off the strip of the Stamper as well as the jetpack there as well. But Goatless coming out, dropping, doesn't give a care in the world. We're going to see if they can make something happen here on this tower. They do, getting another crucial pick, keeping the defense here and the lead just
that is going to be a lot of pressure. Landcrab's going to surge. Can they even make it to the checkpoint at the very end? Rival has other ideas right now, and it looks like that's just going to be the 3 members that have dropped so far. Vivi is still wrestling back the tower at this stage. I don't know how, Neptune, but Angelink survives, but barely.
Barely surviving. This Pencil player Wendigo has been absolutely a pain in their side, holding that stack, giving the jumps, providing cooler. This is exactly why Pencil is the monster of a weapon it does. It's a Swiss Army knife to answer any situation. As an anchor player, you need paint, you need special, but right now you can see Landcrab still pushing it forward. Wendigo getting another pick right now as well, just going absolutely bonkers as well. And now Angelink is looking for a way to just move this Pencil out here as well. As you can see, just now all the members are slowly funneling through. We have a lot of things. They're forced to jump out. The tower's finally in their favor. They're going to get specials of their own. The ball is in the court of Angelink.
Yeah, now the ball's in the court of Angelink, but look at how much time that was burned from Landcrab, forcing Angelink back. They don't have much chance. They don't have much time, rather, in order to get this push going. They got 1:10 left to go. So far, that's 3 immediate members that have dropped. I think it was fights across where Rival picked up 1, Godels picked up the other, and that is just the Sticker Stamper. That is just the only member alive. But they do have a Buoy Bomb that can buy the team some time. That's what Corbett is going to use right away. As that Buoy Bomb, where is it going to be thrown? Going to be the ultimate question. Well, it's actually going to get shut down. But I don't think we even saw the Buoy Bomb get thrown. They got heavily focused. 45 seconds left to go. Neptune's still a chance for Angelink to strike. Rival is doing their part, but there's still some time left for Angelink to make this push happen.
There is a lot of time left, but time is not in the favor of Angelink right now, especially with the specials that are coming up online soon. We have missiles and Booyah Bomb coming out, as well as that cooler that just got popped right here. You're kind of forced to like make plays right now to potentially swing the game, and that's when you start forcing those plays. That's when you're more likely to make a mistake in things right here. But Ryan Ball keeping calm and cool, using that Zuka, getting huge double right there. Take it away here for this last 10 seconds.
You got it. 10 seconds left to go on the clock, and that is actually just gonna be they have the Buoy Bomb. This is gonna be imminent. GG Booyahs being used here. They got 3 seconds. Wait for Corbidet to use it. They're gonna probably send everybody up there, and just an immediate pop. They probably didn't even need it, but somehow 2 members drop. Corbidet takes out 2 by themselves. The critical defense holds for another time, and that's gonna be Landcrabs. That's gonna be the 2-0 victory there in this playoff 3. But of course, you know how low ink goes, especially with playoff 3s. They got to play the 3rd map. Matters for tiebreakers down the road. But what a finish there from Landcrabs, especially how this map kind of played out here from Makopar Target Troll.
Yeah, for sure. Landcrabs certainly played their cards right. And you saw it in the ending there as well. I think it was Corbidet on that sticker stamper as well, using the Booyah Bomb as a GG special right there. They realized, hang on, they only have so much time right here. Let me hold on to this special here and let me pop it at the end. And it was beautifully responded to by Angelink here, because normally when a Booyah gets tossed at tower, there's really nothing you can do, or there's no attempt right there. But there was some creativity in trying to use the splashdown invincibility frames to try and remain on the tower as well as live through the Booyah Bomb. But it's just, unfortunately, Corbidet saw right through that and was ready to just pounce on the tower with that giant sticker stamper hitbox right there, just taking down 2 in 1 swing at the very end there. Just a very well, just checkmate position. I can't really say anything else more, Keon.
Nah, I think you covered everything very well there in that second map. So, I mean, now we come into what I effectively call the salvage map for Angelink, and Landcrab's looking for that 3-0 to at least help improve their cause. But coming into this 3rd map here, the Scorch Gorge Rainmaker, which again, this is a very common map that we see across the board. I don't know if we have really much to add here for how this map plays, if anybody's been familiar. So, I mean, for Angelink, I think the big thing for them is trying to end this one off on a high note, because the set's already effectively lost, but you still want to get that 3rd map win in case it matters on the road, and to obviously keep your morale up, especially with that 1st set ending the way it did.
Yeah, for sure. Just I feel like there is an opportunity for Angelic to take this game right there as well. They've shown they've been able to make wild plays to swing massive advantages for them. I believe it's mainly through the carbon roller. I think as well as like the V shot as well, using their Zukas very effectively as well. And as a Trizuka user myself, they've been positioning really well, using their special to set themselves up for a lot of success as well. And I think having two Zukas on Rainmaker as well is going to be very strong to just not only start pushes but also stop pushes as well.
And I would love to see the Zuka usage be used to full effect, as we do get to see the players load in. Landcrab's not going to really change a whole lot here. I think we're gonna, and I think we're gonna get to see this Blobber back here from Angelink, unless they've dished out there. Actually, I think Kello was actually dished out the Custom Expo last time, so this is actually going back to the Blobber that they used in Game 1, but otherwise the idea is effectively the same here. You got Rhyme Ball, by the way, being thrown in on this card roller, so looking to see if they can get anything going for Angelink. And they're already fast start, 20 seconds into the game. Landcrabs goes 3 down. That's a delayed wipe to start things off. Angelink now trying to paint forward. They are going to pick up this Rainmaker and see if they get the first checkpoint. That's a nice little pick there, and Kello does slam this one home. 31 seconds into the game, the first checkpoint already good for Angelink here, Neptune.
Yeah, for sure. The first checkpoint is already done right here, and I see this blob right here consistently using Under Shredder as well as the object damage of the blob to just quickly get these picks right here. Force-shredding that Booyah right now, putting Landcrabs on a massive disadvantage right here. They're looking for a way to run it forward here. They just picked it up. They also got the jetpack running out, and you definitely see this push keeps going all the way down to 30, which is really good. And then a triple down. It's just a Stamper alive, already trying to be able to scramble for this Rainmaker right now, but it just seems like there's just not enough steam in this engine to keep it going.
Yeah, not enough steam left in the tank there. The engine had to be stopped at the next station before they could even get that one moving forward. And I gotta give a lot of kudos to Kello. I'm gonna be honest here. There was a lot of orange ink from Landcrab, just able to maneuver their way through so much of it to get to the 30 points remaining. And especially in a map like Scourge Gorge Rainmaker, where any points past the first checkpoint could potentially be a game-winning one. That could be one of them. But right now, Landcrab's a lot of time left on the clock. We saw a comeback that from Game 1, that they were able to take that one home with the KO. Obviously, the objective being different. Landcrab still has a lot of time, and we get to see Angelink still this time looking to play a heavy defensive setup here, Neptune.
Sure. Now, you still got 3 minutes right now, so you can't just turtle up at the end of the day as well. So you got to find a way to be able to stabilize your defense right here. But now Landcrab is going to respond by putting up a pretty strong offense right here. A jetpack covering a lot of area coverage right there, allowing the Rainmaker to move forward through that first checkpoint as well. It's now Yang looking for a way to snake their way in and help Lettuce as well. 2 picks down. We do have numbers as well, but look at how much Splob is stalling this Rainmaker. They did it for all they can right here as well, but they do have to get moving forward. Abuya is on standby, ready to toss as well. And Angelink needs to find a way to stop this, but just not quite enough this game.
Not enough, and they've also lost 3 on top of it too. The Buibami uses just all pressure everywhere across the board. Yang throws out the Angel, gets another pick, I believe, onto Godos. I believe this is the 2 that they got on this one. Lettuce is trying to slam this one home and does not. Lettuce does not slam that one home. Rhyme Ball and Angelink lives to fight another day, and it's just 2:12 left on the clock. But to your exact point, Familiar, you do not want to rest on your laurels quite yet. You still got to play the full 5 minutes of this game, and it once again shows their Landcrabs another strong push. They get home to the 1 point remaining, and especially in a map like this, that could easily be a game-winning push. Kello runs it straight into the splat bomb. We're gonna pretend we didn't see that, but either way, Landcrabs, Neptune, powerful push to take it home to 1 point remaining.
Yeah, for sure. They had everything on the makings of a good push, timed their special accordingly, and just ran it all the way down to that first checkpoint there as well. So now it's going to be a bit of a difficult situation here Angelink. Starting off here, but you got 2 picks to go down. You can see a Booyah Bomb. I think that's going to get shredded all the way down here as well, thanks to this Blobber pushing up here as well. And now it's just a matter of time of how can you knock out here? How can we essentially get a wipeout to be able to push that Rainmaker uncontested practically and move it out here with this last minute on the clock here?
They're ultimately gonna have to focus on a lot of members from Landcrab. So Yang's just gonna be the problem player here to look out for. Yang, speaking of which, already collapsing onto BB, and it's actually exactly the player I called out. They have been the source of Landcrab's aggression time and time again. The team also following suit by collapsing onto the rest of Angelink. When Yang focuses one, the rest of the other team following suit. and Land Crabs with a phenomenal defensive hold. They have two specials. They do have enough to stall if they want to offer that. I think that's what they're gonna try to do right here with the way those Rainmaker's position, and that's exactly what I'm seeing. Rymal's gonna have to be the one to push forward, and it's 48 seconds left on the clock, and this is looking to be pretty textbook here from Land Crab, the way they're playing this Rainmaker in the final seconds.
Yeah, just putting it in the bottom right here just kind of sets you up for just so much difficulty trying to fish that Rainmaker out of there as well. You have to clear not only the members around the Rainmaker, but also get to the fish itself. And it's just a very difficult situation with 15 seconds on the clock and not a lot of things you are able to do, especially when you're down and don't have too many specials left over. These last 10 seconds here, I think this is just going to be the stall game as well. Slowly, the members of Angelink are trying to move up here. They're trying, but Lettuce is going to catch them out here and take home a clean 3-0 for Land Crabs.
For all the discourse you probably hear about Rainmaker, this is pretty much the way you have to play Rainmaker, especially with what I saw, an 11-second advantage in the last minute. When you're down to the last minute and have a huge lead, and you know exactly where you gotta where you need to stall the Rainmakers, exactly what they need to do, and especially with a map like Scorch Gorge, where you just can plant it on the bottom right, Wendigo pretty much knew what they needed to do, and the rest of the team knew what they needed to do next, and it's exactly how you win those Rainmaker games at the very end. And I know some people will have a lot of talk about how that's not necessarily a lot of interesting Splatoon to watch, but I mean, it is just pure textbook from start to finish. A lot of kudos, Neptune, to Land Crabs. Slow start at the beginning, picked up steam to finish the set one off there. The 3-0 sweep is gonna be great for Land Crabs and Angelink. I mean, they got 5 more sets to work off of, but I imagine they're gonna have to go back to the drawing board for their upcoming sets.
Yeah, for sure. What was it? Just Rainmaker in general has been the source of controversy, especially if you've been at Riptide. I'm not gonna go too far into that. I can hear the crowd chanting there as well. But you know what? I gotta give my props right there. It's just like essentially you just set up a near knockout push right there, and it's just such a big mountain to climb that. Especially if you play the Rainmaker in the positions that they did at the end of that game right there. It's just a very just checkmate, essentially. It's just checkmate's the word I've been using a lot lately because it feels like exactly what Land Crabs is doing to secure these game wins here, Keon.
It's a game of chess, but they thought 50 steps ahead of their counterparts there. That's the way we can explain everything. Everything's just a chessboard at this stage. But yeah, I mean, a lot of kudos to Land Crabs. Also, just smart Splatoon at the very end, and just incredible play that we saw there. Again, even if you don't get the KO, you got the dub at the end. That's the important thing there for Land Crabs, and we'll be curious to see how their journey throughout this month's Loink, plays out as I'm going to take a quick gander here, courtesy of Sendu, to see how the sets are all playing out. Some sets currently still in progress here. Neptune, especially from the B group side. A group side, of course, I think this group has 1 set left to go. So, I mean, every team knows what they need to do to start off here in this Loink edition.
Sure, there's just a lot of things here. Thank you to our lovely producer for showing these amazing graphics here on the screen as well. And you can definitely see round 1, Group A, there's still 1 more set left out here to just finish up as well. But looking at like some of the other teams that like strike out to me, Kittens. I gotta give a shout out to Kittens, just being consistently very strong alpha bracket contenders right there. And even though they went to game 3, I assume that's just the warm. The first set is always the warm up, Keon. Yep. This is what I always told myself every time I was playing this tournament with my friends. It's just like, it's okay if you drop a game as long as you stay calm and collective. I think you are able to run the mile that is this marathon of a tournament.
You got 6 sets you gotta play at the end, and they're all playoff 3s. You're guaranteed 18 maps of Splatoon from start to finish. If I do the math right, I better hope I'm awake enough to do math right here for this group. You can look, Neptune. We've talked about math probably in a distant Riptide session at one point. I don't think I need to go back to math anymore. So we go to Group B here. A lot of very familiar teams, as you know. You noted the team I was about to call it there, Kittens, a team that consistently make alpha brackets. I wouldn't be shocked if they find themselves out of eligibility here for Loink. So, but of course I might be getting ahead of myself. They have to get through the end of day 1. Then we got to see what the results are for them. But Here in this group B, very familiar names I've recognized across the board, especially with Magic Beans, Krill Streak, welcome aboard. RIT Ocean, Ocean Orange? No, the words are flipped. RIT Orange Ocean, excuse me. And Octo-Express, very familiar names for me out of this group. We got 2 sets that are still in progress here. Neptune, anything that kind of strikes out with teams, especially out of Group B.
Teams out of Group B. Oh, this is a good question because you were recognizing like your typical staple teams, like Krill Streak as well, Magic Beans. I got to meet, I believe, one of the Magic Bean members at Gommel in Canada as well, so there is some bias there, seeing them going 3-0 as well. Sonata is also another team I've been catching my eye. I think I commentated one of their Ludi Div 7 Grand Finals. I think that was where it was. But yeah, they're a very strong group as well, and they're ready to rock and roll here for this rally with a strong 3-0 against Work in Progress. That's also a beautiful name. There's a lot of beautiful names here, funny names. So yeah.
I had to put. I just realized that when you called it out, Work in Progress or WIP in Progress, or I guess we have to say Work in Progress. There was a redundancy issue over here. I'm not even gonna challenge it. I appreciate the play team. You get an A+ in my pickup names book. I'm sure other TOs will agree with you on that.
It gets a stamp of approval from me here as well. So that's also
for me too.
Yeah, okay, as well. You know what? At least maybe the real lowing was the teams' names we read along the way. Do you think that's what it is?
It's always the team names. Look, if I have to look at teams that aren't quite established yet or just trying to get their feet wet here in Lowing, it's always the team names I take a look at here. We're gonna be seeing a few more here in day one. It's the beauty of day one for me, especially looking at the teams that are interesting, and of course teams that just strike gold with their team naming thing here. And yeah, as producer is about to note to us, one set is left in progress here. This 2-0 now make that the 3-0. They just need to take their time making it to the finish line, and that does wrap up round 1. We'll get to see. We'll have to wait the roll here for round 2, what each team gets to deal with. But I mean, to say the least, though, the big milestone for this month, Neptune. Everybody's gotten past round 1.
Yeah, that's for sure. Big milestone indeed. I think this is the first Lowing happening when the NA League started as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is some of people's first Lowing actually as well, because everyone remembers their first Lowing experience, and it's a very magical and special moment where you get to step into the toes and the realm and the domain of IPL's tournaments and see what Splatoon is really all about right here. And there's this space of people where both obviously learning the game as well. It's just a wide variety of people as well, and I think that's the thing that all brings us together is we're all here for funny Squid Game.
That's actually how I get all my experiences here. I just got my band of three friends, one of them especially, and to pick up a few, especially from the collegiate adjacent side, to just play the game. And I realized, oh yeah, I can see why people competing that want to play competitive Splatoon or want to play the competitive funny Squid Game. It took me a bit. Now I understand. Now I got my feet wet with that. I'll never forget the day Popgun mentions like, all right, if you beat F2 and you're still not getting Lowing banned, I think that will forever be true. Popgun, if you hear me on this one, Popgun is still 100% accurate to this day. But exactly to your point, especially with obviously the big event that's happening there, the NA League, you will probably, I think, with people with a lot more exposure to that league, you probably will get to see some other players realize, oh yeah, we could play this game. It's a game I actually like, and I can play this competitively, and hopefully, that's my dream here, Neptune. We get to see a lot more newer players appear in future events. Even if we're in year 3 of Splatoon 3, I hope to still see you new players out there especially those who are tuning in and watching Lowing right now.
For sure, there's definitely a lot of time and spaces for these new faces to be able to build themselves up. Obviously, everyone has to start somewhere, right? That is the crux of the situation right here. It's just like everyone talks about, man, we need more storylines. Why aren't there more storylines? Well, sometimes the problem with getting more storylines is getting fresh blood into the mix as well. And these players can obviously offer their gameplay, their perspective, their teamwork, their coordination. I can go on and on for the list of things a new person in this community can provide as well, and just that's what's important at the end of the day. For a scene to develop, they need to have these people play in events like this as well to not only get exposed to other community members, but to build up more engagement in our own little bubble.
You know, it's actually a fantastic point. It's like, why do we not have enough stories? Well, and I speak as a person who's watched actual sports here too. So you're gonna get the stories of, you know, the existing teams. You get obviously teams that are competing in probably all the big events like any league. You got Super Jump, of course, the IPL major that will probably that the next one I believe in December, especially, and all the other big name events. But you also have to figure out where will the new players come in. Will they come from low ink? Will they be ones that graduate from low ink / be ineligible from low ink / get low ink banned? That's gonna be making the rise. That's always the angles I love to talk about here with stories here. And hey, speaking of potential stories to talk about, we got two teams that have a story they want to continue to write here in round 2, because we got ourselves our next matchup here, Neptune. I think with the producer who's gonna take some time to load up what that matchup will be. We got Pixel per Ink, which I believe is a team I definitely recognize from previous low inks. I think I might have seen them in Bravo Alpha, but I'm gonna have to double check my facts on that. Versus Octo-Express making their appearance here. Both teams, I believe, have won their first set, so the winner of this one going to advance to 2-0. Obviously, going to continue their start of low ink very well. Excuse me. So Neptune, this has a lot of interesting angles we can take.
Yeah, a lot of different angles and interesting angles that we can take here as well. And just looking at the team rosters as well, I think one player that stands out to me is Shinigami? Shinigami. Thank you. Okay. Because I believe they're normally playing ink brush players, and as someone who has a TCS fanboy, fortunately or unfortunately, I love you, Kraken, moi. Just seeing an ink brush on the screen always brings into the game just, okay, this is something that can wildly swing the game or wildly just destroy a game. It's a very versatile weapon, even though it has some of the shortest range numbers in the entire game, and that's because of its mobility. And I believe we're going to be starting off with Clan Blitz here as well, Keon.
I think Clan Blitz would probably be the most logical progression here with the way we get the maps rolled, and surely enough it will be the Museum de Alfonsino Clan Blitz. I'm going to take a quick aside here because I think we have a lot we can talk about with the Museum Clan Blitz. I had to remember where Octo-Express was from, and I'm glad I remembered. This is the team that finished second in the August 2025 Low Ink, and I remember seeing this team because I was there because I was very focused about the discussion of LDE Forgers Good, which is the team that won that particular Low Ink edition. Here, and Octo-Express just falling a bit short of the goal line. This is a great chance for them to make the run back up in Alpha brackets, possibly to win the entire thing. But they got to do it again after basically a 2 month break or after blowing reboots again 2 months later. So it's a great chance for them to strike. And Pixel Prank, I was wondering where I recognize the team. It's the same deal. They showed up in the August Low Ink as well as an Alpha bracket finisher too. So 2 Alpha bracket teams from the August edition of Low Ink. And the reason why I'm talking about the August edition of Low Ink, September was Super Jump. So to my knowledge, there was no Low Ink in September. So both teams trying to pick up where they left off in August, and that is hoping to get the Alpha bracket run. And I mean, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. But with Museum Clan Blitz being the lead off here, it's going to be a testament. It's going to be a test of which team has their best teamwork in this Saturday.
For sure, and as you mentioned before, just like both these teams are Alpha bracket contenders here, so it's going to be a little bit more of an intense set here as well. Obviously, just we had Octo-Express being able to punch their ticket a little bit higher here, but that Alpha bracket's still Alpha bracket. We wear that with a badge of honor at the end of the day. That I survived Low Ink Day 2 and made Alpha bracket. Oh man, that's a name tag we should print out here. Giving ideas out here for IPL as well, but you know what? We're just talking about more of these players here as well. I think another one that seems out is Jodic. I am terrible at these names right here as well, because I think they play Carbon Roller as well. Yes. Okay, they have a Carbon Roller. Okay, so it's gonna be a Carbon Roller versus Brush matchup right here. And 9 times out of 10, speaking with other ink brush players, that's not the thing they want to see, because they essentially have something that can just basically insta kill them if they're anywhere near the sneezing distance of the ink brush. But there is definitely going to be a dynamic where you have these rats running around on Museum, and who's gonna be able to have their rat come out on top? It's like a what was it, like a school race or fair race or something. I feel like we're betting on which rat's gonna be able to perform better.
You know, that's a fantastic analogy, and you know what, I'm having to mull on that analogy a little bit more the more I start thinking hard about it. And it's exactly to your point. I'm gonna be curious to see how the brush and what was the other weapon I think you just said as my memory
Carbon
kind of
roller.
just carbon roller. There we go. Yeah, which one is going to be the one to strike out on top? And I think that's gonna be a fun angle if both teams were to dish this one out here in against Pixel Prank and Octo-Express. Again, it looks like we are still taking our time loading in. I got more factoids, by the way, for you, Neptune. That is potentially outdated but still somewhat relevant. They have played off in the same alpha bracket game in August 2025 edition of Link. It was the losers bracket round 2 where it was effectively a 2-1 against Pixel, where Octo-Express got the dub 2-1 because of course Octo-Express finished second at the very end from the lower brackets. So assuming that 2 months have passed and the history still holds relevancy, this is gonna be a fun matchup to see in round 2 of day 1 for this particular month. Again, 2 months have passed, so not everything's gonna be the same in that way. And it looks like we bought ourselves a lot of time here. Now, let's get right into this one. It's gonna be Pixel Prank, I believe, will be on the alpha side. Bravo side is Octo-Express. We take a look at the weapons. It is neither of the weapons we have listed. In fact, it's a whole different set of weapons here. But I'm not at all shocked that the Dreadringers made an appearance, to say the least.
Yeah, Dreadringer is a classic glowing staple weapon. I joke with my friends here, but it's for a good reason. Lots of paint, lots of AoE as well. But hey, you know what? It's not as fast as this V-Bucket right here coming out already, slaying out a lot of members right here as well. And you can definitely see, like, even though the picks are happening on the side of Pixel for Ink right now, Octo-Express is doing a fantastic job just holding up their positions right here as well. But now it's going to be like the pressure is going to be put forward here, Keon, and how are they going to be able to respond here?
That's gonna be the ultimate question. Even in a game where with Clan Blitz, you are gonna be playing a little bit more of a neutral game. You gather the clans for that power clan coming up. It's gonna be where do you start your push and when is the right time to strike. Both teams are kind of just feeling each other out here so far. Manty's still trying to find a way to score further. They are going to get pushed back a little bit, but it's not at all surprising here, Neptune, to see this one be a little bit of a slow start, to say the least, because they are looking for that perfect time to strike. 2 down is going to give them a lot of room to work with. Potentially the 3 down might help. There's an impending reslide from Joda that could be used, and they are going to use it. Luke gets the trade onto Manty, and it's so far Pixel Prank slowly bleeding members here. Octo-Express might be looking to strike right now, Neptune.
Yeah, for sure. You have this bubble getting ready to try and set up here, getting that basket already open here. Now just set up this bubble here so you can have your other things swim through as well. But hey, it got responded to very according with that hammer coming out there from Robin on the wellspring there. Very good response, because that could have been on himself really quickly there. But getting on the pick right there, that is a huge pick right there. But the ball gets shut down right now. These teams are out here playing for keeps, Keon.
Yeah, each team playing for keeps as well. And actually, something that I just noticed is Albert picked up the 3-clan back at base, and I see what the idea was. If the push was successful, I was expecting the that power clan to be jumped in with the 60 points remaining, but it was cut short thanks to a great defensive pull from Octo-Express. 2 members going down though from Octo-Express will effectively mean Pixel Prank has a chance, but it was a power move that could have worked out, just not fully materializing. They do get another power clan spawn for their trouble, so they just got to be able to push forward. The problem right now is they lose 2. They don't have enough firepower left, but Robin does cash in on 1. Will they get the second one to go? I think this is going to be a heavy defensive setup here. 3 members guarding that power clan for dear life. It's just going to be the 80 points range, just the one and done push. But Neptune, they do at the very least cut the deficit in half. They're going to need a little bit more than just that.
You're definitely gonna need a little bit more after that. And you did. I love how you pick up on the part that they use their pity clan is there as well, because now they're gonna have to get a power the old-fashioned way, which pick up these claims as well. And you can definitely see there is a bit of a scramble here in mid with all this yellow ink here as well. Octo-Express is looking for a way to put on a little bit more pressure right here. Beautiful direct here coming out from yellow on the Luna Blaster. That's a little bit of a long shot right there, but you do manage to be able to get it, especially when they're underneath there. Playing to your weapon's strength and knowledge, and you can definitely see both these players are using their main weapons and finessing them to points where they're able to get these picks and do really impressive stuff here just from both sides.
Yeah, there's a lot of impressive work going on from both teams so far. And you got and right now both teams still looking to see if they can extend, they can push a little bit further. For Pickle Prank, just the chance to swipe lead. For Octo-Express, just being able to expand more on it. But again, just basically the score has just been Power Clams only, to say the least. There is the 2 members that have dropped, but they are trading 2 on the other side, so there's nothing going to materialize quite yet. If anything, it's going to be a slow approach here for Octo-Express. Initially, Pixel Brain does cut them down. We're down to the minute and 12 marker right now, and we are still waiting for that Power Clan to spawn in from Pixel Brain to at least get anything going. Neptune, this is still pretty slow so far. Albert is trying to pave the way, and they do follow up with 2 members that have dropped. That's gonna be the barrier open. That's gonna be the lead chain, and Albert pops the Booyah Bomb to ensure pressure continuing on from Pixel Prank, and the timer slowly ticking down right now. That is just gonna be Robin trying to stamp their way forward, but there is no other small clan in sight. Neptune, there were as much yapping as I did on that one. 45 seconds left to go. Pixel Prank gets the lead back.
Lead back indeed. That S-Blast put in work there, and that was exactly why S-Blast is such a feared weapon right now. The ability to just one tap you or just 2 tap you in just close range or long range distance as well, and then extend off the Booyah Bomb as well, is what allowed that push to be able to succeed and go on for as long to swap it in the first place here as well. Because now Octo-Express, they need to find a way to push through as well, and they definitely have a lot of the time on their hands here. 15 seconds here. They do have a bubble set up. They do see some strikes coming out, but how far can this decav go? Because you need to cut this bubble up as far up to here to get any value. But no, wait, is that someone in their spawn with a Booyah Bomb? Are they going to jump it in?
They're gonna be able to jump it in, and that's, I think, gonna be the game here for sure, because I think with the way that Power Clam got tossed, there was not, the timer's gonna go way past the OT, and on top of it, they also had lead before the OT even started, so that was great from Pixel Prank, and that's gonna be game 1 to Pixel Prank in an excellent Clan Blitz game.
Yeah, for sure. Just a lot of steadfast as well as calm plays that just snowballed into big advantages that allowed Pixel Prank to put the pressure on Octo-Express right there. There is a tale as old as time that says, okay, whoever pushes at the end and gets lead at the end is going to win Clan Blitz, because you have to fight through so much of the map right there, especially Museum, which is such a wide open and large map right there. It felt like the decav really needed to find a way forward, but they were just consistently denied by Pixel Prank there, and that's what allowed the Clam to be able to get jumped in and just finish out the game very cleanly on the end of Pixel Prank.
Little known Clan Blitz knowledge is that if you had the lead and you break the barrier before just before the clock hits zeros, and the clock does hit zeros, no OT will exist, if I'm not mistaken, and I think that's a knowledge that actually that a dear friend of ours, Kraken, told me at one point too. So that's still, hey, Pixel Prank being very opportunistic, love to see that. And you know, there too, the jump being in was great from Pixel Prank, and Octo-Express down 1-0 in round 2. Mahi Mahi Zone's gonna be the second map coming up, and I think we kind of saw the back and forth kind of just play out the way we did. I think Zones is going to tell a very interesting story with how both teams play, especially if Jonix is going to run it back with the Dreadbringer.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, it's something I want to talk about a bit of Zones here and like offer a bit of perspective here as well, because oftentimes Zone is often the one that's seen as the most competitively viable by top players as well, and being able to play it here obviously because it's a very beloved game mode. And the main reason for that, like talking to other top players as well, is mainly they don't have to worry about objective. In Clan Blitz, you have to worry about getting power clams. In Tower, you have to worry about the Tower. In Rainmaker, you have to worry about the Rainmaker. Here, you just have to worry about map control, because, well, in theory, right, you need to hold zone and be able to hold it out to knock it out as well. What matters is the zone is static. You don't need to worry about the objective moving as much as necessarily like a Rainmaker or a Tower, and that allows you to be able to express yourself in ways and play for areas of the map that you don't typically see as well. And it's just a lot more of a balanced game mode from hearing from them perspective here. But you know what? Well, let's see how they're able to perform here at the end of the day, Keon.
I think it's gonna be the big discourse for any player, especially low level and to top level, all the way up to top level. Is do we play a little bit more zone focus? And exactly your point, with the objective staying where it is, you have one less thing to worry about. And I'm curious how both teams played out. It is exactly how I expected this to go here, though. It is a Dreadringer duel. Luke versus Jodek. The big story here from both players is who will get their Reslider to work the best, along with their main weapon, with that Dreadringer. But pretty much a very fascinating set of weapon changes from Octo-Express, because I believe the Custom Blaster is something I did not see in the previous matchup. They're heavy-headed also for the cooler option, so gonna be curious to see how that all materializes here. Neptune already minutes into the matchup. Yes, points are ticking down from Octo-Express. It's gonna be changed really quickly here with the wipeout into another delayed wipeout thanks to the stagger. This will bring once again striking big.
Pixelberg, indeed striking big here with a great opening right now, but hey, 2 down right now with the cooler out. This is a go time, and you definitely see both these teams marrying each other in a sense of 2 Dreadringers on this map right here. If one thing's going to be certain, it's going to be a Reslider hitting that zone. Oh, that is very unfortunate disconnect right there as well. I think they're going to be resetting this one here as well, but wow, just let's talk about these comps here, Keon, shall we? Can this?
Yeah, by all means. What intrigues you with both teams?
Okay.
With the comps that you saw?
Okay. So I saw, I believe on Octo-Express's side, 2 sloshers. You had the Dreadringer and the V-Slosh as well. So you have one slosher that's more focused on painting and being more of a supportive one, while the other one can now focus more on fighting and playing off the chip damage of the other slosher as well. So essentially you have like this double AoE dynamic, or this dynamic duo, if you want to call it, of these 2 sloshers playing off each other. And then they add the custom blaster into the mix, so like, that's a lot of AoE, right? That's not something you typically get to see on a lot of comps as well, with 3 AoE weapons playing it out right there, and then you have your edit as a stabilizer of sorts with cooler. But yeah, that's going to be quite a comp indeed to be able to operate as well, because when there is a trade-off to using AoE, and that is usually your speed and how fast you're able to move up as well, because you kind of have your paint tied to a slow weapon in Dreadringer and a weapon in edit that kind of needs to rev up as well. So that's what's kind of scratching my brain here, Keon.
Could this be that this is a zone-centric comp, if that makes sense? It's a map that's kind of built with the purpose of Mahi zones being the one?
Yeah, no, wait, I definitely could see that in mind, because there are a lot of ledges to watch on offense and defense here as well. But hey, looks like we're getting back into it. Same comps here. Let's rock and roll, Keon.
Yeah, and we'll see how far the AoE centric comp from Octo-Express plays out. And obviously, 40 seconds into the matchup, you get to see the momentum get to be pushed a little bit forward, but it looks like it will just be the restart here on both sides. And that Dreadringer immediately rushed in with the restart. Is going to get cut down. It wasn't even enough to flip zone. There wasn't enough support on the other side of the zone, and that's going to lead to Pixel Rank 65-point remain. They're going to force the map to change here, but with 2 members already dropping, a possible stagger game being played through, it's going to be trouble here from Octo-Express. We do see the triple splashdown be available. They are going to look to slowly enforce them, pop it right away to see if they can force the zones to be neutralized. But Neptune, it doesn't neutralize at all, and Pixel Break with a much stronger start in Mahi zones.
Yeah, even stronger start here as well, just allowing them to be able to get through this zone. Already down 25 here. A wipeout does occur, and now you get to set up for it in lockout here as well. But I think this is an opportunity to set up your specials right here. They're obviously trying to find a way to put up pressure up as well here. Even though they're not an AoE weapon, that doesn't mean you can't still pressure under ledges and push up here as well. As you see Luke taking that top right, as well as the other members watching the left drop.
Yeah, and a lot of things you have to keep an eye on. You got 2 specials already, trip strikes, and the restart already being used. Already the quick zone split. That it was an instant blink and you miss it, and that is the understatement I think I have said today. As already Pixel Brink forces penalty points and is buying themselves some time to work with. Octo-Express just has that triple splash. I believe they also burned the cooler on top of it, so they are going to get some support. They are allowed to respond and play aggressively here. But so far, zones slowly being lost, but Octo-Express holding firm. They take out 2, and they force the delayed 3. It's just the wall string with that hammer, the only one alive, and I think they did have to pop it from earlier. This could be really good news from Octo-Express coming up here, Neptune.
For sure. I feel like the only way this can be denied is if the restart comes in. Come on,
there we go.
Oh my goodness, the league gets to stay for Pixel Parade, because I believe it got ties right here. If there's one thing Splatoon hates more than you're having fun, it's more about having tiebreakers, and this game will not allow that to happen, keeping Octo-Express having to push forward if they want to lead.
That was a crossing pattern from both Reef Sliders. Then the priority belonged to Pixel Prank. Jodak explodes theirs first before Luke had the chance to get the zone scap the other direction. Both had the same idea, and Pixel Prank holds firm in what could be a very important 1-point lead here as two members going down from Octo-Express. They do have a triple slash on that is available. It is being burned. They actually take out two other members, and it's going to buy themselves a lot of time. That's actually the wipeout. This could be great for Octo-Express as members slowly getting out of respawns here. They're about to take down on these penalty points. Yellow and Quitter trying to put themselves in a position to pressure Pixel Prank, but they are playing a little bit more defensively around the zone. This is gonna be Octo-Express's time to shine if they want to take home game 2 here. Neptune, even though there is a flying freestyle that does not only forces neutral, but both Red Ringers have dropped. This could be huge fear from Octo-Express.
Oh my goodness, the Reef Slider forcing neutral, I think is... Am I watching fake gameplay right now? It feels like it, because it feels like now it's gonna be Octo-Express getting gas and double here right now, punishing that play, not allowing the zone to flip. This is a very difficult situation to go. They have to go these last couple of ticks right now. You can see the slasher from this launcher not allowing the members to go through zone, and the game is gonna go to Octo-Express right there.
You know, the game of crossing patterns and burning Reef Sliders to get caps of zones was one thing. Pixel Prank using the Reef Slider and only getting neutral instead of getting the zones caps is the other. By only getting neutral, they don't force penalty points to flip, and then they were starting to lose members left and right. It just happened near instantly and fell apart so quickly. And Octo-Express, I mean, I don't know if the AoE Centric Cut was the big thing, more or less the Reef Sliders being the main focus and their usage coming out on top, and it started to show at the very end. Octo-Express forcing the 1-1 tie. Of course, I know this is just set 2 of 6 here in day 1, but that was pretty exciting to watch out of Mahi Zone's Neptune.
Yeah, for sure, because, like, we've all seen it, you know, the Reef Slider hits the zone flips right here. The sky is blue, vanilla ice cream is tasty, right? Just a lot of basic stuff right there. So when I saw it go neutral, my eyes widened right there, and I'm, like, trying to think of, like, what happened right there. So I think there might have just been, like, a slight, like... positioning in the Reef Slider that caused it, as well as like the extra paint coming out for the other members, just to ensure that Reef Slider would not cap there as well. And that's kind of comes down to a lot of Zones gameplay as well, just to be able to pressure the Reef Slider to be forced out a bit early or not quite in the right spot that would cause an instant cap, and that's exactly what Octo-Express needed to be able to swap that lead out right there. And then they punished accordingly, and just being able to do that just allowed them to flourish and finesse that final end there.
I think we're gonna need to have a long talk with Reef Slider usage in Mahi zones, but at the end of the day, Octo-Express the one that comes out on top. And this could be a pretty important 2-1 finish for any team that comes up here. Again, both teams wanting to make the alpha bracket return here, as they were the ones that made it to alpha bracket in the last edition of Low Ink. So winner of this one will continue that run, and obviously each loss could potentially start mounting if things start to fall apart later in their respective sets. And Inkblot TC, a stable that exists as old as time, is gonna be the finisher. And to me, it's just like Hagglefish Zone. It's gonna be a game of fundamentals with tower control now being the main focus.
Oh my goodness, tower control Inkblot here. After seeing the NA League and how they handle their rules, I've seen the counter pick, or the tale as old as time. What's your counter pick option? It's tower control Inkblot right here. But today's special is you're not counter picking here. You're just playing it because it's on the map list right here, and you're playing it for the oh so crucial set win of a game 3 and a play all 3 here as well. So regardless, we were going to see this map mode here. It's just now we see it with the stakes on the line of who's going to win this set and potentially have another leg up when it comes down to finalizing the brackets in day 2.
Now, granted, Neptune, as much as we overemphasize how crucial this is, it is still set 2. But I think you can attest, and I would have to look back at your history here. When you hit the 2 loss marker, that's when your tiebreakers are going to start really mattering, and you don't want to have to deal with that margin of error if you're going to be a team that makes it back to alpha brackets. So ideally, if you get the dub, that will give you a lot of room to work with. Now, that being said, though, Neptune, 1 loss can still get you to alpha brackets, but you got to win the rest of the way here. So, and I think both teams will have to understand any win we can get will give us a lot of room to work with at the very by the end of it.
Yeah, for sure. And like diving a bit into my history here, I believe talking with some other players as well that are participating in tournaments like this, with you have 6 rounds of Swiss and you are kind of slowly batching up into other teams as well. I think the most crucial set of like setting yourself up to go to those higher brackets are set 3 and set 2. So you want to have that 3-0 and 2-0 to be able to just smoothly sail through the end there. Obviously, like, your sets will get harder as you continuously keep getting game wins, but at the end of the day, just having that security right there and that little bit of a cushion, I like to call it, a little bit of a safety cushion, or a I'm just gonna call it safety cushion, right? That's essentially what it is right there. You want to take those game wins slowly but surely and have a little bit of a safety net to be able to catch yourself in case those other sets just go wrong, or you burn out initially, or like you just don't have enough stamina, because that is what low ink tests: stamina. That is one of the biggest things that you learn from this tournament.
Day one especially, you got 18 maps you got to play, you got 6 sets you got to play there too, so both teams running into the basically a close matchup in set 2. I mean, you just have to know that this doesn't wear you thin by the end of it too. Again, I can, with especially with as many low inks as I've seen in the past here, Neptune, you start to get into the danger mark at around the 2 loss marker. You don't want to accrue that second loss at any point, and it's also not technically safe as well if you get the 2-0 and you suddenly drop 2 sets down the road. So you don't want to put yourself in that position. So any safety net does help at the end of it too, and I'm sure both teams understand that, especially with the way both teams have been playing out. And I love the back and forth, by the way, too, that we have seen, especially with both sets, honestly. Honestly. Sure. So this is good. So that's kind of, so I'm excited to see how both teams progress out of set 2. And wait to see how this plays out. Again, we are actually having to deal with some lobby shenanigans, to say the least. So bear with us. You'll have to hear us a little bit longer before we get to game. But Neptune, I think for both teams, I think they have to understand how important at least game 3 is in terms of that safety net that will help them down the road.
For sure, and I think it's I believe according to a little producers working in the background here as well. We have Critter subbing in for Izumi on the side of Octo-Express right here.
Might be the other way around. Might be Izumi subbing for Critter.
My goodness.
Don't worry, you're good. You're there.
Saying false information already here. We're only, I think, an hour into the cast right here. This is a great sign, but hey, you know what? I'm all here for the fun vibes. I think that's what matters. I just want to see some good Splatoon, and it seems like it's going to be more of a anchor role position that I'm going to be seeing here. I don't see any weapons listed out here in particular, but I think it's going to be mostly the backline being swapped. So what can we see here at the end of the day? Peter Kyo, I'm thinking.
I'll let you think a little bit more. I think that's gonna be the big thing we're gonna keep keeping out. You don't need to think anymore, Neptune. We're here. Don't worry. I'm also so physically catching up to the current world here. Speaking of things that are more intriguing, it's less about the subs that I'm intrigued about. Yes, the sub Izumi brings in their E leader. It's also what Pixel Prank decided to also bring out, because I get to see the glitter. What is it? The glitter Zuli? Is that the official name?
Yeah.
The one with the bubble. Yeah, and then Jodek out of the Dreadringer dishes up the B splash as well. Luke also switching over to the B shot. So a lot of things have changed with the comps. What hasn't changed was how close both teams are. 3 down on Octo-Express, 2 down, make that the delay, 3 down on Pixel Prank, and it's already starting off. It is already starting off as fast as it did.
Yeah, for sure. The tower's gonna start with Twinkle's good. Yep. Definitely with the bubble in the fizzy bomb, it's going to be very crucial here as well, especially starting off with this first push, but having that crab tank getting shoved off here, leaving it the only one alive, is going to be a very dangerous position, because looking at Octo-Express's comp right here, I'm going to call this the UCSD effect right here. You have a roller, you have a charger right here, both weapons capable of one-shotting you if they're setting up correctly, so your attention's going to be massively split on dealing with roller, dealing with the charger, dealing with that charger. Oh, the roller's going to come in here as well. So now it's going to be a very difficult thing for Pixel Inc. to be able to respond here as well, especially on tower, which I think is leader's best mode, because he's able to watch over the tower as well as contest the tower so easily. Izumi is going to be putting in the work here for this game, I think, and they're definitely going to be a member to watch out for the later half. But no, they're getting run down and flanked by an anti. Beautiful wipeout right there. The Twinkle Dualies is going to shine through instead.
And that's the big thing too. I think it is exactly to the point that either could bring an interesting dynamic to this game. You noted Jitter 2 probably its best map, but right now they're gonna have to focus more on the defensive front right now, as they are gonna have Robin. Actually, Robin using that hammer to stamp their way forward. Yellow, I'm not entirely sure what you're trying to do there. I think you were trying to roll them over, but you also ran out of big along the way. The epitome of no man's land there from Yellow, and they find themselves in the wrong end of it, and it's gonna lead as well a second checkpoint clear here for Digital Rank. Octo-Express is gonna be the one that has to play for the 2 checkpoint deficit, and Yellow still trying to do their best with that roller, trying to see if they can find any value. Is gonna get shut down there for the well string, and all of that being said and done, Pixel Frank strikes big here in Neptune with 2 left.
For sure, getting that fix on that roller is especially helpful as well, because that's one less one-shot threat you have to worry about. But 3 down here, going to expose your E-leader, going to allow Manti to be able to move up here, setting up this bubble, preventing the fix.
No!
Flush it right there. That is a dagger right here, going for this 3rd checkpoint right here, but the roller comes down from above, getting another one. But they need to stop this checkpoint right here. A wipeout just barely keeps Octo-Express in this game, practically needing to knock out here if they want to take it home here, Keon.
I mean, Yellow ran out of ink trying to roll somebody over from Pixel Prank, and then comes out with the clutchest moment they could have with 2 minutes left to go on the clock. And that could be a long 2 minutes that could be used to Octo-Express if they can pull this one off. That's gonna be the big thing there is here. As the trip trick's being used, they got 3 specials they can work with on top of it. Look for the bubble usage as well, along with the Zuka. If they can find value right away, Yellow plants that bubble in a very safe position here for Octo-Express to continue this push up forward. Izumi and Yellow, however, having to retreat. They are having to look for value, but they are getting shut down by Pixel Prank's defense. That's gonna also lead to the 3 down, and Pixel Prank's defense holds once more. They don't make it to the 2nd checkpoint, and Pixel Prank are trying to run this to the finish line here. They got 2 specials they can work with to their advantage on this upcoming defense. Probably an upcoming offensive push they wanted here, Neptune.
For sure, converting a defense into offense, you love to see it here as well. And using that Booyah Bomb to get these that. Oh, Albert, what is going on here? Is this the powers you get when you play the S-Blast here, Keon?
Oh, probably.
Got a quad right there. Them just putting in this continuous pressure right here. It feels like Pixel Per Ink does not want to give any inches as well. They don't want to give any opportunity for this roller or this leader to set up here as well. And you can kind of notice it with how they're using their specials as well. They're always using it to diffuse the picks as well as extend plays after finding them as well. Luke managing to win this 1v1 is going to be pretty big here as well. Popping the Zuka right here, forcing Robin to jump out now. So now it's going to be, can we set up the roller and the leader in just the amount of time right here before Pixel Parade gets a special? That's the brutal question that's going to be happening, because you can brute sword or stuff with the bubble. It's just bubble is only one of these specials that can get you through.
Something you also have to pay attention to, Pixel Prank does have an S-Blast that is about a quarter of the way to building up that Booyah Bomb. That's something you have to keep an eye on. That might be a crucial time to shut that one down, because they're going to have to focus on it a little bit more. Pixel Prank goes 3 down. Nobody's there right in time to get, because it looks like the rest of Octo-Express are trying to get everybody else to jump in. I would look for that special to be used at this point in time. The S-Blast has to stay alive. I imagine they're going to be back in base looking to use it, because there is 30 points remaining. Still ticking down. There's that Booyah Bomb. Albert's going to use it, and this could be thrown into that general direction. That's the 2 members down. That's probably all they're going to need there, and that's exactly what we see. Pixel Prank shuts down 2 members of Octo-Express. Octo-Express doesn't have enough left in the tank, and that will be Pixel Prank 2-1 finish in a very fun set here in day 1, and they will improve to 2-0 to continue on their Swiss rounds.
Wow, okay. That was just really well played. Another checkmate here. We do love the chess analogies here today. Just consistently using your specials in a way that will just force the enemy into uncomfortable situations that can just end the game as you see fit right there. And here's the thing, Pixel Per Ink, because they were able to break through all those checkpoints as well, they had all the time for that S-Blast to just get the Booyah Bomb as well. Sure, they had opportunities to be able to, for the Octo-Express members to be able to push it and perhaps punish it as well, but when they have a lot of opportunities to, as well as a lot of time to allow that to happen, it was just too much of a mountain to climb there for Octo-Express, which is why Pixel Per Ink is going to take home the set 2-1. That said, the 2-1 is really what the box score really shows. It was a very fun 2-1 both ways. So that's gonna be hey, Pixel Prank improving to 2-0. Octo-Express down to the 1-1. Again, Octo-Express, they win out the rest of the sets. A very comfortable ticket they can punch 4 alpha brackets, but they're gonna have to face four opponents along the way that will do just that.
I think for both of us here, Neptune, round 3 is gonna be queuing up here soon. So don't you worry. We're gonna keep this train running right along. I believe this set was the last one to finish out of round 2. So round 3 right away, as our producer is gonna get some time to set up, is gonna be Rest in the Milky Way versus the Barnacle Munchers, which are two awesome team names to say the least here, Neptune. I kind of want to see how both teams play out here. Both teams, by the way, 2-0 leading this one.
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely going to be a situation where both these teams, they kind of felt like the warm-up's over here. You know, as they're competing right now, you are now on, I believe, is one of the most crucial sets to win, which is round number 3 here, and I get the pleasure of being able to watch this history in the making potentially right here, because one of these teams will be able to potentially punch their ticket up to be a little bit further up in bracket and not have to deal with tiebreakers, while the other team's going to be having to be a little bit on the struggle bus right there. It's not impossible to still make your way up to the upper brackets as well, but if you are aiming to do that, round 3 is where the boiling point hits its mark here.
Yeah, we got Barnacle Munchers and Rest in the Milky Way that will fight for that 3-0 position, to say the least, for their respective spots. Again, both teams, and I love the team names that we have here. Rest in the Milky Way, another is an established team, along with Barnacle Munchers as well. They got a few results on their board, to say the least, and I think this might, in the last lowing for Rest in the Milky Way was the May 2025 edition. I think they finished 29th, which I believe was a beta bracket finish for the group. And for Barnacle Munchers, actually, I think this is their first official lowing. They were participants of 2 FTIUs in the past, especially the one just earlier this month. So their first test of a two-day low-level tournament here for Barnacle Munchers. And hey, the 2-0 start, it might be telling for them. I'm gonna be excited to see how both teams play. And to your point, this set 3 becomes critical for both teams, especially for teams that are aspiring for that alpha bracket placement.
Yeah, for sure. So you have basically a new face to Low Ink versus a previously more team that's kind of like, okay, we've been through this for the first time. So I can definitely see a little bit of pressure on Barnacle Munchers needing to perform, especially with being on stream. I feel the nerves here, especially when other people are spectating as well. But hey, the only way you learn how to deal with those nerves is to be in these situations in the first place right here. And now that's what Barnacle Munchers are going to be doing here, seeing how they handle this pressure and how they'll be able to perform against a team that is typically seen at Low Ink here, as you mentioned before.
Yeah, seeing in the past couple low-inks for the results. The last one being May, so it's been quite a while here from Rest of the Milky Way, to say the least. So I'm gonna be excited to see how both teams perform. And I think, and again, to not underscore anything, to say the least, this is gonna be a matchup that will at least give one team a cleaner run to an alpha bracket finish. But again, assuming that rounds 4, 5, and 6 does not mess them up. And on the other side, if you drop the 2-1, it's not the end of the world, but you will have a slight mountain to climb in terms of trying to make your way through and trying to avoid getting screwed over by tiebreakers effectively here on Neptune. So, I mean, for both teams, this should be a lot of fun to watch. And I believe we're going to be resuming with the Rainmaker map here. Undertow Spillway Rainmaker is going to be the lead off for set number 3, and this is good. I thought Scorch Rainmaker was stable, and then I remembered, oh right, Undertow Spillway exists. This should be a lot of fun to see, though.
Yeah, for sure. I think, like, talking to most of my friends in, like, the comp community, this is one of the more positively viewed Rainmaker maps, because you have 2 ways of going about it. Well, you obviously have your typical standard route of going left as well, where the defending team has a lot of high ground and being able to defend against the fish as well, so it's very difficult to score points. Or you can do a little bit of a cheeky play and go a little bit on the right-hand side, which is more of a quick getaway when you realize no one's watching it as well. And that's kind of what makes this map feel a lot more better, in quotation marks, for a Rainmaker map, in the sense of you have the option to take it at one side or the other depending on the state of the game.
And that's going to be the one I'm going to be curious to see how both teams want to approach it from either side, honestly. And I could see the right checkpoint be used in more of an advantageous standpoint. You could also see that at the end of games where they just are more focused on clearing that, so they got themselves a lot of room to work with down the road. But I think I'll say a 75-25 split. You'll probably see them approach it from the left, any team that is somewhat practiced in this particular map mode combination for Undertow Rainmaker. So I'm gonna be intrigued to see how these two teams get to play. I've kind of glossed over the teams here. Neptune with Rest in the Milky Way. Is that what I just said? Rest in the Milky Way is what I was trying to say there. They got Ionad, they got Shespada, Dislike, and Horo on the other side. Barnacle Munchers, again, the team that I think if the results are true, is their first low ink. It's Beefman, Flake, and Spider and Stream. We will Glorby and Airy will be seeing the bench for game 1 if my information is correct. So for these teams, there are two with one that is kind of rusting off of low ink and the one who's making their first appearance of low ink. Again, if the results are accurate. I think though 2-0 is a pretty good start for both teams. And their goal is, hey, let's see if we can make it 3.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be one of those instances where you can perhaps punch your ticket up here and just make it a clean 3-0 record here as well, as we were talking about previously. But just let's get into this. Okay, never mind.
Yes,
These players are ready to rock and roll here already, Keon. Looking at these weapons here already, it seems like we have some very standard things, but double sword coming out. Wait, okay, we are pulling some sauce out here, and I'm not sure how hard the sauce was cooked.
I think that, so we also, what's also underrated is the Dewey Squelchers as well, the vanilla variety as well, which I don't normally see every day, and then the custom E-leader. So this is just all sorts of shenanigans from Barnacle Munchers here that I'm going to be intrigued to see. Rest of the Milkyway also with an interesting choice of that Sorella Umbrella, if I'm not mistaken, there being the weapon of choice. So I'm going to be excited and intrigued to see how not just the double sword, especially with the Mirror V Stamper, plays out, but also how Rest of the Milkyway responds to it. And that's going to be the fun thing to see. They're not wasting any time. They're going to the left side. They've already punched through the checkpoint on the left-hand side of the map. And now Barnacle Munchers is still trying to claw their way through. They think they're going to pick up this Rainmaker. A lot of points on the board. And that is going to be Horo going to be shut down right then and there. Neptune already fireworks to start things off. 4 minutes left in this matchup. And Barnacle Munchers going to have to play from the deficit.
Yeah, for sure. A little bit of a deficit right here as well, but no lead is safe. Oh my goodness! Using the sword dash to give yourself a paint path as well as guard the Rainmaker at the same time. I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was purposeful. That was a really crucial play to get yourself near a knockout here with 8 points remaining right now. Now it's going to be Barnacle Munchers going to be having to fight a physical and metaphorical uphill battle if they want to keep on this game.
This is like the ultimate welcome to low ink. This is the ultimate welcome to low ink here for Barnacle Munchers on stream. Yeah. Now you gotta play from 8 points remaining. The 92 points cashed in for Rest of the Milky Way. But if there's anything that we saw, especially from set 1 earlier today on stream, Neptune users are still playing up for the clock hit 0 when the game ribbon shows, and that's what they're gonna have to do. Barnacle Munchers will need to look to keep their cool here. They get first points on the board. Dislikes is gonna be the one providing the pressure, but is gonna have to retreat now. The question is for Barnacle Munchers, where will the pressure come from right now? It looks like they are going to be stalled just a tiny bit. This is a pretty good defensive pull. Dislikes and the rest of Rest of the Milky Way is able to get the claps onto that Rainmaker holder there, and that's just going to be the 2 members that have dropped from Barnacle Munchers. It's going to be a little bit of a slow push to say the least, and Barnacle Munchers will have to think of something in order to get that first checkpoint to start things off.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely have to be very considerate on how this Rainmaker needs to be moved over as well, because you have it on the right-hand side. Now you have to just be able to fight through a lot of the members that are taking that top right area. Great positioning from the junior as well, just being able to die so much space here and basically put Barnacle Munchers in a position to make a decision here. Do we keep fighting right side, or do we just try and appeal left? And I think they're going to go for the left side here as well. Already picking out 2. This is something huge in the making.
Yeah, Dislikes is gonna be the one that has to use that inkjet to get that pick. Some actually really good angles and takes out Flake. Flake was the one that was holding that one through, and that actually just buys the defense a lot of time. Beef is shut down unbelievably. That could have been the splat, but no. Rest of the Milky Way shuts down some possible hammer there, and that will be Rest of the Milky Way again. Another solid defensive hold. Spider trying to play very sneaky. There's no Spider-Man to that play, and it's only going to lead to a slow push from Barnacle Muncher. They still have some control of mid, but the time's still ticking down. About 1 minute and 35 left to go on the clock, and this is a great defensive pull from Rest of the Milky Way.
Yeah, for sure. It's a really strong defense here, and they realize the lead that they have just allows them to be able to comfortably hold these positions and not make too many difficult or risky plays here as well. While it's the exact opposite for Barnacle Munchers, with the time ticking down right here and being able to force your way in. You have multiple specials coming out here, and that bubble, this poor bubble, I feel so bad for this, just getting consistently cracking the hammered into next week here as well. But hey, you know what? Rest in the Milky Way have been able to respond to it as well. It's going to be dislikes on this jetpack, consistently getting a lot of pressure in space for their team. That's going to allow them to move forward and actually pick up the Rainmaker here.
So they are going to pick up this Rainmaker. They only had a few seconds left if they wanted to, but I think they're just going to try to push this one a little bit forward and probably put themselves in a place where they could stall, but they are going to get cut down there. So now this is coming into that territory where Rest of the Milky Way picks this one up, which they might be able to, especially with the delayed wipe that is in play. They could opt to play for the stall game, and Oro is going to hold on to this one for dear life, and Rest of the Milky Way moving forward. Actually, they're going to look for more points, possibly the KO here, as Barnacle Munchers is just a bit slow on the uptake. They are going to run this one right behind the umbrella, but is going to not get additional points on the board. But the rest of the Milky Way is still trying to collapse on them. They're trying to buy themselves some time, and now they got to pop this Rainmaker right now. Beef is going to use that ult stamp to assist with it. Someone has to pick it up right there, and with about 5 seconds left, Flake is the one that picks it up. Now you got to look to play perfectly the rest of the way. If you're a Barnacle Munchers, Rest of the Milky Way, don't be surprised if they play this one very passively from here on out, as Inad and the rest of the gang still trying to find rest of Barnacle Munchers on the board. One member down on both sides of the map. Stream trying to carve out a path here, but it looks like they are being chased by dislikes. This is just Barnacle Munchers being thrown across the board, and this will be dislikes at the end of the day using the inkjet to shut down Barnacle Munchers. Rest of the Milky Way with a strong start takes this one home. They take home game 1 in set 3.
Yeah, for sure. Just, I felt like Rest of the Milky Way was just looking for that final dagger there, putting up one last Rainmaker push to basically say, take it from coast to coast, as one of my friends would like to call it as well. Just essentially you're forced to pick up the Rainmaker, and now that timer starts ticking, and it's just like, okay, now you have to go all the way to the other side of the map and potentially knock out as well. It's just too tall of an order for Barnacle Munchers to be able to respond to as well. But here's the thing, Barnacle Munchers, they had some really crucial picks, and they shut down the specials like the bubble really well with the double sword, as well as I think the Kraken coming out there as well. But it's just not quite enough there. And I think another big problem as well, having a leader compared to Pencil on Rainmaker, right, is the leader is actually a heavyweight weapon. And for those who don't know, hint, hint, wink, wink, if you're listening here and looking to get a little bit more knowledge about the game, the speed of the Rainmaker is actually tied to the weapon class's base weight, actually. So if a lighter weapon, like the Ink Brush, like I know a particular person on TZS picks it up, they will actually run a bit faster than normal, versus a E-Leader picking it up, or like an Explosher, they'll move just slightly bit slower here as well. So that's just another thing that was working against their favors, and I'm just wanted to bring that up because I think that was a really cool tidbit.
Yeah, I think, hey, that could have been huge there. That Barnacle Munchers would have had to deal with what's the slight speed deficit versus somebody else picked it up. But I think that's what they needed to do at the end of the day anyway, is just having their E-Leader pick it up while the rest of the team follows suit. Another problem that Barnacle Munchers had to deal with was Dislake's just great accuracy and great knowledge of the inkjet shot there too. I say great knowledge, more like great accuracy on top of it anyway, because that inkjet was proving to be a problem for Barnacle Munchers getting key picks down the road. And a lot of opportunities that we saw Barnacle Munchers get in Undertow Rainmaker just falling apart at the seams thanks to the team cohesion that we saw. So Barnacle Munchers will look to rebound here in Crab Lake Clan Blitz, which is a map mode we just don't normally see often. I'm gonna be curious to see what I'm gonna be curious to see what we have. CJ is gonna be the one switching that swaps over to decap. There is a 10 umbrella showing up now for dislikes. They're just gonna be the umbrella specialists throughout the board, and Barnacle Munchers is gonna run it back with the same weapons from game 1. Only thing the intriguing to note is Rest of the Milky Way's weapon changes.
Sure, just it's definitely seeing the 10 umbrella here to add just a little bit more HP. It's a little bit of an awkward situation because normally when you see a double sword, the idea isn't really to bring out an umbrella that's a little bit slower and clunkier and gets countered by the swords, but now it seems like Rest of the Milky Way is confident in their weapon picks here, especially. The 10 umbrella does offer quite a bit more HP and allows you to force more situations here, but we'll see how this turns out here. As already amazing pick here from Dislikes using the Zuka right here, just finessing their specials in ways to just secure advantages for their teams here, Keon.
What I actually kind of intrigued about is that Dislike was a maniac on the Inkjet. Now they're trying to see if they're maniacs on Tenebella. I think they're just proven to be that they're a maniac anyways with any Umbrella weapon that they dished out. They just got the first push just by using that Tenebella to help shield them. But what does it amount to? It's only just the 1+1 push here. Boro had to escape back to base, excuse me, for the rest of the Milky Way. So it is just a quick push. It is quick points on the board. Barnacle Munchers will be looking to regain some ground. They are gonna have to look for the players they gotta find. And Flake is gonna be there using that E-leader to plant themselves in a position where they can look for some crucial snipes or some crucial finds there. But right now, Barnacle Munchers is gonna slowly regain some ground, but they are gonna go 2 down at the end of it.
Yeah, for sure. And I like this leader trying to find a way to set up here because it feels like they're forced to be able to make plays that will push the enemy back here as well. But hey, popping that crack in response to the enemy flanking right there is going to allow them to live and reposition once again right here as well. But this is going to give so much space for Milky Way. The time the leader is in the Kraken, that is time the leader is not set up on the grids right there, but 2 down on the side of the rest of the Milky Way here. Forced to bubble here, Keon. Can they hold this?
They actually might be able to because guess who had the Zuko on hand and shuts down a member? Of course, it's Dislike, by the way. That rest of the Milky Way just got another save on that push. But that's only one part of the puzzle right now. It's still just the 1+1, and it only just eliminated a push off the board. And it's actually going to be a lot more devastating right now, as it's going to be 3 members that have dropped. Flake has to burn the Kraken just in time, but that is going to be the ground given up here for the next push of the game. And there's going to be some small clans being chucked in here. Going to be a little bit of a slow going for this one. And Flake and Spider trying to push forward. Flake, as a frontline E-leader especially, is going to get cut down, and it is just going to be down to the 62 points remaining. Spider does get the cut down on the 1, but at the cost of just another small clan, make that 2 more coming in, and this push still going for rest of the Milky Way until this very moment, and the lead extends to 53 points remaining, 47 cashed in, and Barnacle Munchers has their work cut out for them, Neptune.
Yeah, for sure. Your work is cut out here, and it's not going to be easy. It's similar to how it happened in the Rainmaker game, essentially, where it seems like rest of the Milky Way is looking to secure early game leads so they can play more defensive positions more comfortably, while Barnacle Munchers, while they are playing aggressively and trying to make stuff happen, just never came to settle up a lead that can just allow them to be able to play more comfortably with their weapons here as well. And now you do have Flake setting up here with the leader here, just looking to get these shots right here. It's a very tall order, especially when you're getting bombed and your teammates are getting run down as well. You're now just forced to back up here, and that's going to give Milky Way a chance to be able to potentially push up.
Yeah, but right now, Beef is going to be the one that's looking for Beef to throw there, as it actually takes out Inad, but imagine they were looking for another member out of the mix, and it's back to the 2-for-2 trade. We got 1:20 left to go on the clock. Trades are happening across the board. Rest of the Milky will always be happy with that. I mean, what do you think Barnacle Munchers have to do there? They got a Kraken that is available, but Flake's the one that's going on to the power plant here next.
Yeah, for sure. Flake has been holding on to this power climb for so long here, looking for that one opportunity right here, and trying to get a pick right here. It's just so difficult with just how mobile rest of the Milky Ways do it, as well as like the HP they need to trick through. That 10 umbrella from Dislikes here is going to be able to guarantee so much space right here, because now the leader is forced. Oh, okay. Never mind. Just nailed him right in the head right there. Why don't you?
Yeah, that nice little shot there. I think they're trying to be a little bit sneaky, but didn't quite work out for them. And right now, just still waiting for that time to strike right now. They're only getting trades, so there's not enough ground gain here from Barnacle Munchers. Rest of the Milky Way doing a phenomenal job right now, just holding the ground that they need to, especially coming into the last moments of this game. Just like Pops has the power climb. Now they're being chased by a beat. That is the wipeout. Now this could be huge. There's the first power climb. The second one's being dumped in. They just got to get the other power climb and the pressure moving forward. But there is the lead. The lead has indeed changed hands. It all happened on a near instant here. Neptune with 8 seconds left to go. But they also get cut down. They are also delayed wipe. This could be an even bigger push on the other side of the board. This is just the 1+2 that they need. And this was a great push, but they may have overextended. They might have bit off a little bit more than they could chew. Inad needs to be the one to cash in on those small claims. They do just that. Barnacle Munchers had a fantastic counter push to get the lead, but they all get cut down on the delayed wipe. Rest of the Milky Way had a fantastic response. They go up 2-0. That's the lead. That is the set win for them, and they're looking to take home game 3 to get even more out of this.
Yeah, wow. What a ending of a game right there. Basically, from opening the one basket to swapping the lead, then going immediately to the other basket to take the lead right back and playing to the win conditions very well right there. Rest of the Milky Way just got caught off guard by this hammer coming down, I believe from Beef on the side of Barnacle. Yep. That was a Hail Mary of a hammer right there. You were forced to make something happen, and you did indeed make something happen there as well. And just being able to swap that lead there was very crucial. It just felt like even though there was such a good push and a lead swap right there was just barely enough time and a little bit of a panic, I like to call it right there, where, yeah, sure, we invested so many resources into getting that lead right there. We just did not have enough sustaining power to stop a decaf, setting up a bubble that allowed that jump to happen just basically effortlessly. Just the bubble is just set up way too far in the base, not enough people were alive to be able to shred through it as well as stop that jump in, which allowed rest of the Milky Way to secure game number 2 right here, up 2-0 in this play all 3 set.
And yeah, set win. They will improve this 3-0 regardless of what happens in game 3. And Barnacle Muncher is going to drop to 2-1. But of course, you want to get that dub in game 3 to help your cause here for tiebreakers at the end of it. I was wondering if that lead change was gonna be huge for the newcomers, but in this scenario, the delayed wipe also forced them back at base. That gave up a lot of ground on top of it too for the decaf to just set up the bubble, and they're like, oh wait, we actually took them out, no reason to panic. And I gotta give credit there, Western Milkyway. That could have went south if they were not composed, but in that situation, understanding, all right, well, we got that taken care of. We just need the 1+2 for that lead change, and Inad was the one that got it at the end. So what a play overall from Barnacle Munchers, an even better play from rest of the Milky Way by the end. So for both teams going to game 3 right now, and the goal here for Barnacle Munchers is to salvage. Goal in the rest of the Milky Way is just improve their tiebreaker chances. And they're just going to throw everything out the door right now for both teams, because I am seeing a Sticker Stamper mirror duel in Makomar Tower Control. Beef also switching to the vanilla Octobrush. Already weapon changes across the board here now too.
For sure, going to a Sticker Stamper on Makomar, I can understand that because it gets so many Booyahs, and Booyah is such a great special for not only holding, for bumper pushing, as well as diffusing other specials as well. It's kind of the Swiss Army knife of special recently that's been doing this. But hey, speaking of specials here, we see Dislikes once again rocking this jetpack right here, consistently finding their picks right here, allowing their team to be able to move forward. 2 down on Barnacle Munchers. Ball is in the court of rest of the Milky Way.
Rest in the Milky Way. Really no rest to find anything else here in another galaxy, as they're looking to see if they can take this one home for another 3-0 for the 3-0 finish. But they are gonna have to deal with an onslaught of Booyah Bombs. Honestly, just one Booyah Bomb, but they got a Booyah Bomb to catch it by themselves. And right now, Barnacle Munchers dropping a few more, but they're able to take out 2 in rest of the Milky Way. But this is going to be a little bit of a slow-moving push here as they're trying to collapse onto the rest of the Milky Way. A lot of points were given up, though, by the end of it, but they are able to take out Inad with a nice little slash there. 2 members down. Barnacle Munchers can get out the penalty points. They're looking to see if they can get more points on the board.
Yeah, for sure. I like how Flake is watching this left drop right here, because I feel like a left drop can be very crucial here. Dislikes is also going to be able to, I believe, jump out there as well, realizing it's not worth it when an Octobrush and a leader is looking at me right here in the face. But we do see Nad, I believe, as well, popping in the bubble, hopefully contest the zone right there as well. Dislikes once again finding another jetpack pick. Am I watching Splatoon 2 gameplay, Keon? Because this is what I see the jetpacks all come out.
There ain't Jets back once more, and in the hands of Dislikes, just finding so many picks with them. And I know Dislikes has been our radar. The entire team has just stepped up as a whole for rest of the way to get the picks that they need. Scream just going down in the hands of Dislikes as well, and the rest of the group is following suit. They have a few members, however, dropping just left and right. Beef is able to respond back. They take out CJ, and that will be rest of the Milky Way somehow getting the zones back, only for a few extra points on the board. Barnacle Munchers need to get the cap, and that's what they got out of it. Dislikes is going to get shut down with that jetpack. That was huge. Beef is able to find a few, and now Beef is just waiting to find another member on the board. And right now, Neptune, Barnacle Munchers out of the penalty points, and they're looking to see if they can push up a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. Beef just putting in the work there for this team. Just doing absolutely insane things with that Zipcaster. Calls the Octobrush right there. Looking that jetpack in the eye, that has been getting so many different picks right there and just absolutely shutting it down. Not giving a care in the world, but another beautiful pick right there on the Stamper. That is absolutely crucial because you don't have anyone else to move up with the Inkjet right here. Oh my god! Like, just... that was so good. Crucial, Keon, help me.
Neptune, I think I'm gonna leave you into your own devices on that one. That's a 2-for-2 trade. We'll have to marvel that one a little bit more. Actually, time slowly ticking down here. Barnacle Muncher's able to get a few more picks on the board. That's a wipeout, though. The wipeout is there. And yes, there were members that went down from Rest in the Milky Way, but Rest in the Milky Way, you successfully gets the zones back. You may want to hold off just a little bit longer there. This could be the combo coming up here from Rest in the Milky Way. That was a nice pick. Highlight real play from Flake. But right now, Barnacle Munchers, the next step they got to do, especially with the lead, is to hold successfully on defense. Rest of the Milky Way looking for the 3-0 is still looking to contest back. They're out of the penalty points now. Here now, Neptune.
They are out of the penalty points right now, and now you just need to be able to win this fight on zone right there. But an excellent shutdown on that Zipcaster. That's been a thorn in the side here as well. Flake is forced to Kraken right here as well. So now that the Kraken expiring and that jetpack out, it's going to be a very dicey situation here for Barnacle Munchers to be able to find something forward. The Octobrush forced to make a play here in the ink right now. Oh my goodness, it's just so very difficult here. Booyah comes up on here. They're just barely going to be able to hold it here. It's knockout there. Rest in the Milky Way somehow finds the Galaxy Gall brain to live through 2 E-leader shots to cap zone to knock it out. Wow.
The highlight reel play belongs to Barnacle Munchers, but Rest in the Milky Way able to hold successfully once more for the 3-0 dub there in round 3. I mean, a lot of credit to Barnacle Munchers just trying to hold their ground here, but we got to talk more about Rest in the Milky Way. Let's be honest here. The team as a whole played phenomenal, able to come back from two big punches that Barnacle Munchers was about to dish out to Rest in the Milky Way. A lot of credit to really the entire team as a whole holding the ground. But dislike on not just the Inkjet but also the Zuka at critical moments in game 2 gets even bigger praise as well. But the entire team as a whole holding firm and improving to 3-0 to continue their lowing journey. Neptune.
For sure, well, Barnacle Munchers, even though they lost like one of the more crucial sets to secure themselves a high rank, there's still more rounds to play. There are 3 more rounds to go as well. Yeah, there's plenty of room to turn that back around here and steer that ship right there. Now you just have Rest in the Milky Way right now, just sitting very comfortably, and I think should be a team that you guys should be looking out for. Being able to come back from the depths right there, the deficit of being respawn punished with 2 leader shots right there, realizing we have to go now and being able to clutch up at the very end right there. This is a team I think should definitely be in the spotlight here, especially if we're going to be looking into day 2 here, Keon.
Especially looking into day two for Rest in the Milky Way, a phenomenal showing, and what a fantastic start that we've seen here. We're gonna, before we hand it off to our next set of casters for round 4, 5, and 6, I want to give a quick recap here of where we stand in the brackets here. We got 6 teams with the 3-0 win-loss. Of course, one of them being Kittens, the team that I'm sure a lot of people have their eyes on. They got the 3 over Kelway back pop. Citronade, no 6-player, Rest Milky Way, Perplexed, and Starfish rounds out the rest of the 3-0s from Group A here. And also 3 sets still in progress right now out of Group A. Neptune out of Group B. 6 other teams also entering the 3-0 department. Pixel Prank that we saw earlier. Inkceptions, the Squids of Caledon, Fun TV, No Fate, and Insecure Connection +2 is the one that rounds out Group B. They also have 3 sets in progress, and that's what it looks like out of the 3 sets. Of course, we got the 6 3-0 teams. And I'm gonna be curious to see how all the rest of the teams play on their in today's lowing.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be watching from the spectators cam here as well on IPL Twitch here or IPL YouTube as well, because I think this is getting recast as well. Thank you, IPL, for being able to cover out both things. I think that's great, being able to cover on multiple platforms as well, so we can get more eyes as well as just be able to have more convenience here as well. But you know what, Keon? I can only be here for so long. I think it's time for us to step down from the mic and hand it over to, I believe, Fufu and Dark. Oh, I love that pair. I love them. Wait.
You'll hear from them here in a bit. Neptune, where can the people find you?
Okay, you can find me losing my mind at the CCA circuit qualifiers here, crashing Sendo.inc, but I'm normally the guy who runs Spec Camp for that as well. So if you are interested in seeing me around and potentially being streamed by the CCA, go check out the CCA qualifiers right there. Just grab your college friends, have a good old time there as well. You can find me socials as well at Neptune-TV on Blue Sky as well. I do also stream Seek Out sets as well when I'm feeling in the mood. But that's it for me. Keon, where can I find people find you?
You can find me still recovering from jet lag changes of 14 hours from a previous vacation. But otherwise, you can find me on Keon2570 Blue Sky and on Twitch. Follow my Blue Sky for the shenanigans and Twitch for any content you'll hear from me as well. I'm hopeful I can recover from my naps that I've been taking throughout the week. Say the least. Sam, our amazing producer, as we give you all the amazing shots there. So give Sam all of your energy, those in the chat. But for Neptune and I, we're gonna be getting the heck out of here. Round 4 gonna be coming up here soon. Dark and Fufu will take you home the rest of day 1. For now, we'll be right back with more Loig.
Get ready for the next battle, ladies, gentlemen, ladies, and in between. My name is SPF Darko, coming at you live from IPL to bring you the second block for Swiss stages of Lowing. Of course, I'm not alone here today.
Yes, hello, I am Fufu. Dark, thank you for the lovely introduction to our block. I'm very excited to be here because we're going to be watching these last 3 sets of Lowing. We have Soul Recoded versus Mr. Krabs, Krabbenbande?
Yeah.
Bande?
Yeah, where'd that L come from, buddy?
Krabbenbande. Wow, you cannot be making fun of me this early on to the set. Blows you up with my mind, man. We just got here.
Oh man, this is gonna be a start of a great block, you can already tell, but yes, that's 50% Soul Recoded versus Mr. Krabbenbande. I don't know these teams that well, but you know, I'm sure this will be a very entertaining set nonetheless, considering what we might have coming here shortly. Our first sets here. First match gonna be Tower Control, Ship, Cargo, and Company. A very volatile map, I add, but there is some entertainment to it.
Yeah, it's also probably our most snowbally tower control map, arguably. I think and you know, I talk about it every single time because tower control is literally, okay guys, we're at the second checkpoint. Okay guys, the game is over. That is kind of the name of the game for tower control, and especially on this map in particular. I'm very curious to see how these two teams are going to react, seeing the Octo-Rush, Dread, the decap. I like that comp. They are going anchorless, but I'm very fond of the tent that we have. I like tent and Winter Rapids, so I think ooh, this is gonna be interesting, actually.
Yeah, this is sort of a opposites meet here between these two teams. Soul Recorder have a bit of a more slower poking playstyle with the blaster and the decapitator and the Tenebrella, while Mr. Krabs Krabbenbande has a more frontline heavy offensive team comp on this side, wanting to try to move fast. But it looks like Soul Recorder does manage to stay with their ground at the very beginning here, though, getting the first points online, but still a bit of a stalemate here.
It's a little bit of a stalemate indeed. Both of these teams just trying to find an opportunity to break out of this neutral state. Robot on the side of Soul Recoded, trying to find a pick here, not quite able to find it, getting picked off instead. It looks like Mr. Krabbenbande is going to be getting the first major advantage. You know, they got to get the tower, but they are going to be losing 2 down on each side. I think they should be able to maintain this advantage on Mr. Krabs. So, you know, unless...
Yeah, it's a bit of a back and forth stalemate between these two teams still. There's still constant picks being traded back and forth, constant smotions being traded back and forth, but it seems now Soul Recorder finally has some footing here to get their momentum started, the momentum going. Aurora on the left-hand side trying to make sure that none of Commentators is able to get through that breaks here, but the tower is actually taken away at those points before finally getting pushed out. We see Sushi going in with the Octo-Rush to try and get a pick with the Zipcaster, but does not find anyone.
Unfortunate there, but it looks like the hammer from Robot on the side of Soul Recoded is actually going to be getting a pick, getting a little bit trapped, but able to find a second, looking for a third. Whether that's going to hit or not is a bigger question. Not quite, but that does mean that's 3 down on Mr. Krab, and this last one is getting out alive. Question: why are you alive? So they've been alive for a while, and what a slippery fella, actually leaving with their life. But Soul Recoded is going to be in the lead and is looking to clear the second checkpoint.
Yeah, this first checkpoint's now down, heading to that second checkpoint. Aurora positioned very well here to get a line and a path cleared for the tower with Moan sitting on it. As now we see a hammer coming out, Crab Tank getting canceled out. That's a huge cancel there from Robot. Even though they do lose their lives there, they don't have to worry about that Crab Tank, as long as they can hold the line here and stand their ground, they should be able to get this tower to at least the checkpoint. But no, 2 down, make that potentially 3 here, as we see Mr. Krabbenbande manage to hold their line, hold the defense here, and gets this tower moving back to mid.
I want to say, what is his problem with this shot? Because that was like the most targeted "I want to kill you" I've ever seen. They just went down because of it. But I'm like, that is the hater behavior of all time. Back off.
Sometimes you do have to be a hater to try and secure these picks here, but it may have been a bit of an overextension here, because Soul Recoded still has his tower heading towards the second checkpoint, extending their lead even further. Now Robot with the hammer here on the back line can definitely get one, maybe eventually get a second one, pulling the distraction away from the tower as they're still getting through it. It's going to be a snowball here as Soul Recoded just to be able to cruise their way to victory potentially here.
Oh, but just barely missing the mark at 2. Muniz is going to be almost taken out, but Aurora comes in to save the day, helps get this tower into a much better position and looking to knock us out. That is a knockout. What a save there from the last 2 members of Soul Recoded with a beautiful, beautiful first game of the set.
Yeah, a good opener, a good started for their tempo here in this set specifically. I'm not too entirely sure about their scores. I'm gonna have to do some digging for that from their bracket or from the Swiss series so far here. But a good opener nonetheless for Soul Recoded to get their tempo online, and it goes to show that sometimes playing it slow, slowing the game down is probably worthwhile against a more faster comp. You know, they're able to actually play the longer team fights, get the chip damage in, and then get those executions when they need them to actually move in on the team fights and get the ball moving on their favor.
You know, it was just a lot of good gaming today. I want to say it was just a lot of good gaming. So I'm looking through the bracket at the moment. I'm trying to find the answers to your questions from earlier, but there's also so many team stars that my head hurts. You know, I forget how big Low Ink is until, you know, you open the Sendo page and you're like, oh wow, yeah, that's Low Ink, all right.
Yeah, I mean, Low Ink being Low Ink, you know, one of the premier tournaments on the weekend on a monthly basis. You know, it's no surprise really. Even with as a reminder, folks, the NA League going on right now, I believe, or about to kick off here in a few moments, right? So seeing these numbers still a very good thing to see. But no, heading on to the second game now, Humpback, Pumptrack, Rainmaker. It's a bit of a more interesting map here. Definitely a bit more different in terms of place out for it than the last game. So I wonder exactly if these teams will bring anything new here to the table.
It looks like it's going to be a change of kit for the brush, but and there's going to be that wiper was not there before. Was it? I don't think it was.
Yes, it was.
Was it? Oh, I'm
on Krabbenbande? On Krabbenbande? No.
Yeah,
on Soul Recoded? Yes.
Yeah, I was talking on Mr. Cryad. I'm pretty sure, yeah, that wiper is new. I think they saw like how crazy the wiper was on So Recoded and said, I want one, and so they brought one out. But it looks like Mr. Krabs is actually the first team to get this advantage, or not. The 10 has pulled off an assassination on the poor Rainmaker, and it's gonna help make sure that checkpoint is not taken over. Oh.
Yeah, a good hold here for Soul Recoded. Still alive with the Rainmaker. An attempt from the lives of Recoded to try and get the Rainmaker out of their hands, but now they're looking to try and see how exactly they can move forward, how exactly they can get this ball rolling on their side, potentially be the ones to get the first checkpoint out. And with that jump out and a pick, make that 2 picks. That's a huge opener on their side. Krabbenbande should be able to get this Rainmaker into the pedestal without any issue, and then wipe out on top.
Yeah, this looks like the potential to have a lot of points on the board for Soul Recoded if they're able to maintain this space and pressure. I like that bubble placement originally because it gives them a little bit of extra, you know, protection here, and I think it's coming in clutch. But that Kraken is going to be threatening that Rainmaker. How are you still alive? Forcing them back into the corner. How are you alive, Your Honor? 2.0, 3.0. Unfortunately, they still haven't killed this Rainmaker. There we go. But, you know, it does stop the count at 38.
Yeah, on this map, that's a very good opening push here within the first few minutes of this game here. Soul Recoded doing a phenomenal job there, playing it slow, playing it steady, make sure they get the picks they need so they can really open up with these points. But now Mr. Krabbenbande here trying to get the footing in mid here at the very least before they get a push going. The Rainmaker did resist, so it is here in mid here. But Mr. Krabbenbande gets the 2 picks they potentially need to get the ball rolling. But no, Robot with the hammer comes in, pops the Rainmaker shell, and prevents Mr. Krabbenbande from being able to pick it up as they're just applying constant pressure.
Yeah, and you know, we are seeing both teams kind of starting to look at center. Mr. Krabs does have the more of the center in their favor, but it looks like Red Earth was trying to sneak in, but that hammer gets immediately taken out. 2 down outside of Mr. Krabs. They have the Rainmaker in hand. You guys can just move forward. There's no one there. Wait, that was the other team. That was Soul.
Yeah, no. What happened there was Soul Recoded had the Rainmaker, was going forward, but there was someone in the backline, so the front line turned around to deal with the backline, not realizing the Rainmaker was already moving past them, and there's sort of a miscommunication there from one way or another there from Soul Recoded that dropped that push there. They did extend the lead a little bit further though, but Mr. Krabs Commentators did exactly what they wanted to, just shut down that push by causing chaos, and now they're going to be the ones trying to get a push going on their own side, especially with 2 coming out right out the gates.
Oh my goodness, and yeah, it looks like Mr. Krabs is going to finally get a checkpoint of their own, and if they're lucky, they might be able to actually rival the lead that Soul Recoded had set just prior to them. Seeing that Kraken come out, that people mover, that's what we love to see, and if they could continue to take picks and continue to keep the pressure, put the hammer snipe, quickly taking down Kara, bro.
A beautiful throw from downtown, but it's not over for Mr. Krabs, Krabbenbande. They managed to get to close the lead by 1 additional point remaining between these two teams. That's a huge indicator of this could be going either way between these two teams. Soul Recoded trying to recover as best they can, but Mr. Krabs, Krabbenbande does not want to let this go, but they do manage to drop the Rainmaker at the very least, taking that down to mid, but there's only 1 minute remaining with 1 point between these two teams. This could go either way.
This could definitely go either way, and you know that 1 point difference is so scary because it's definitely on a map where that can swap at any moment. I mean, they were only between that ink rail. You guys can see it on the orange. Like, that is the threshold, which is really not that far off from this corner. So Mr. Krabs definitely has the opportunity to take the lead for themselves, especially as they have all members open. Squilly here trying to do something with a 10, getting picked off, and as the members of Soul Recoded are going in 1 by 1, they are in a danger zone because that bubble and the resources that Mr. Krabs has, that could very well be a lead. That's gonna be the lead, Your Honor!
Ooh, a beautiful bubble being placed on this bell curve here means that Mr. Krabs, Krabbenbande is able to steal the lead away from Soul Recoded and now put them into a semi-checkpoint scenario here. They have 26 seconds left on top of a 30-second potential overtime scenario here if they manage to hold the Rainmaker this entire time to try and close that gap. But 1 pick going down, we see Heretic with the wiper coming on the back line, causes the mayhem, causes havoc there, and then wipe out on top. That's a huge seal of victory for Mr. Krabs, Commentators as they take this set 1-1.
And they're going to be shoving this back in their base. Imagine them thinking you're going to be moving forward, and Mafiu Project Sekai pops in from the back and pops 3. That really was a winning play there for Mr. Krabs. They really. It was getting a little bit dicey for in favor for Soul Recoded there. They were actually starting to get the momentum going. They were getting their specials online. They were getting ready to get a potential like overtime victory push there. But Mr. Krabs Krabbenbande knows that in order to try and disrupt that incoming push, they need to throw just a little bit of chaos. And what's more chaotic than just a wiper coming down out of nowhere in the middle of your team? It's insane. It really is because like it happened so fast. Like this map is such a back and forth, you know, ring around the rosy map, and you saw how close it got. Honestly, I'm just glad to see the score 1-1 because that means we get to go to a game 3, and I love seeing game 3. I think that's what's fun about Swiss is that the further you go on, the more of these game 3s we're most likely going to get because the teams are getting closer in skill, and of course, people want to be fighting for the alpha bracket on day 2. So, Climbing Woods, Barnacle, and Dime will be our tiebreaker.
Yeah, but this is a play all 3, so we're getting all 3 games regardless. So yes, we're Swiss for our first half of Low Ink is going to be play all 3, and then we start seeing the best of 3s, which we had in bracket series tomorrow. But no, we're still in play all 3, so we would have seen this 3rd game regardless here. And speaking of this 3rd game, like Clamlets, Barnacle time, another very different map between these past 2 games. You really need to be changing things up a lot here to try and keep up with these constant playstyle shifts. With it being wide open and flat, you need to be very ready for that.
Yeah, and I also want to mention there was a slight comm change on the side of Soul Recoded. They are bringing out a pen instead of a rapid for this map, which I agree with this choice. I think Pencil does really well on this map just because of how open it is, and I think having a bit more pin control in the center is going to be good. But as I say that, the Pencil gets taken down by Sushi in the back line, taking 2, trying to make it 3. I don't know how they got away with that, forcing that decaf to step back, giving Mr. Krabs such a big amount of space in Soul Recoded spawn.
Ooh, and just like that, Sushi's able to get the power cloud into the clan basket and gets a pick on top of that, not wanting to let their momentum go to waste. Sushi looking to try and see if they can apply even more pressure on top of here, opening up for their team to score even more points here. But Sushi, unfortunately, not being able to get a proper escape out, chooses to jump out as they left a good 40 points in this opening push here.
Yeah, it feels like, you know, just as a little teaser for what could possibly come here later in this match. Seeing the crab here from Mr. Krabs. They got crabs. I like that. But it looks like still a lot of the turf is painted yellow. So Soul Recoded continues to have so much control of the map. And Mr. Krabs hasn't quite found the opportunity to get in there. And when they go down 2 players, it's going to get even tougher because the rest of the members are slowly starting to move up, and a hammer threatening their existence on top of that. It could be a score here for Soul Recoded.
Yeah, but Mafia here is just sitting in this corner, sitting around this ledge to try and get the perfect approach here. Is spotted and is forced to retreat though. Soul Recoded playing it cool. They're flipping the script here. They're keeping it cool and slow and steady, not letting and their mistakes really get to the best of them here. But Mr. Krabs coming about and starting to see that pattern here. They managed to punish it and trying to fight back here. But Soul Recoded still has a solid hold in mid. The bubbler being used to try and push even trying to push Soul Recoded even back even further here. But it's just a bit of a chaotic stalemate here.
Yeah, I feel like Soul Recoded might have taken too long on this potential push that at some point Mr. Krabs was like, oh, okay, well, you guys aren't going to move, so we are. And it, you know, ended up in that. Most of Soul Recoded was sent back to their spawn point, and Mr. Krabs now has the opportunity to get another push of their own as they slowly move forward in the, you know, pushing past this neutral, pushing past mid, and they're slowly making a little more space pick at the pick.
Yeah, now it's Mr. Krabs' turn again here to try and score some more plans. Another 20 points to extend the lead here, and a unfortunate wipeout for them. Soul Recoded going to be moving very quickly here to get the clamps to try and meet Mr. Krabs as they re-engage here from their spawn area, but it seems that they're already at the ready to defend here, and so the goal here is just to try and find that opening here, and the wiper going down almost immediately could be the opening they see to get Soul Recoded those first few points on the board for them.
Yeah, I feel like we're still waiting here in Soul Recoded. They have the clam economy, they have the space. It looks like they were just waiting for a special. Finally, a clam is going in. The hammer is going to be immediately taken out by the decaf, and these points are trickling down little by little, but they have a jump in, and it's not going to be putting any points on the board. I think this count is going to be stopping at 62 for Soul Recoded as they're not able to retake the lead on this push as they continue to be pushed back. And, oh, hello? How did you die? All right.
Yeah, no, it's a good push for Soul Recoded. Don't mind you on that. Here's Mr. Krabs having those initial 2 pushes before, and that means that Soul Recoded is unable to close that distance between the lead, as you mentioned earlier. And now Mr. Krabs, Krabbenbande are looking to try and see if they can just stall this out for as long as they can potentially. They don't necessarily need to be over aggressive here in order to win. They have the advantage here, and Chara with the Krabs, they managed to get one, holds the ground for their team. They're providing a jump in so they can get ready for this incoming push from Soul Recoded.
Yeah, and it looks like things are a little bit rough for that poor Dread that is constantly being showered in yellow. And, you know, Soul Recoded is getting a lot of space on their side. They're able to get a pick on the wiper as well, which typically takes out one of their frontliners. And looking for another, able to have 2 down on Mr. Krabs. It looks like we might be seeing another push from Soul Recoded if things go according to plan. There is a sneaky decaf still in the base, but as I say that, they're gonna, Mr. Krabs is retaliating, taking 2 off of Soul Recoded. There is not a push in sight no more.
Yeah, no, someone from Mr. Krabs' Krabbenbande was in the back line and just disrupting that push from Soul Recoded, and now Soul Recoded is forced to back up to their spawn once again as Mr. Krabs are now having majority control of mid here. They have specials at the ready. They're gonna opt to try and stall things out here. There's only 20 seconds remaining, but with that power climb in the hands of Soul Recoded, it means that we're gonna see at least a 30-second overtime if this goes to 0 at the very least. So can they stall for practically a minute here? It's gonna be a hard thing to say, especially as 2 goes down.
Yeah, and they're going to be leaving that decaf actually in the back line, so I'm a little bit worried about that. They do have the power time to score, and some extra... Did that make it in? It made it in, and they do have the clear score, but they just lost to... I told you there was a decaf in the back lines, and this is the problem with leaving the decaf unchecked in the back. They will kill everyone, and just like that, the lead is nowhere in sight for Soul Recoded. Mafia Project Sekai in here to, like, destroy wins. Oh my goodness. Don't leave the decaf in the back lines. It will kill everyone.
Yeah, no, I think that was an unfortunate bit of tunnel visioning there for Soul Recoded. They had the game plan there. They had the opportunity to genuinely close this game out for their side, and choosing to opting to choose to ignore the counter there was ultimately the thing that really failed them at the end there. Mr. Krabs Commentators was looking a bit dicey at the end there. They almost lost that game, but thankfully we had that decapitator from their side to just be able to come in from out of nowhere and just completely obliterate the push.
Dude, I'm just imagining like the actual character from Project Sekai. I could be a different Mafia. This is what I'm thinking of for now because, you know, similar fan bases. And I'm just imagining this anime girl from a rhythm game, Hot City Miku edition, just coming in with the DK. There goes 3. We win. Yay!
Yeah.
You can like kind of leave them, but it's like you can't leave them too long. It's like you're playing FNAF. You have to keep checking them because if you don't check every 2 seconds, suddenly you're gonna get jump scared, and that's exactly what happened here. Oh my goodness!
I never thought I'd see the day of someone saying calling this game FNAF and giving the decapitator the Foxy allegory here to try and keep tricking them in place.
It's like the mini games in Sister Location and like FNAF 4 with like this what's the bunny's name? Oh my god, the
Bon
mini
Bon?
game. No, that's Funtime Freddy's little puppet.
Are we doing this now? Are we doing this now? Are we doing this here now?
It's a Spring Plus Trap. There it is. The Plus Trap mini game.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
Flash the flashlight.
What's the flashlight in this scenario then?
Turning around or checking our map. Hey guys, I'm mad because I saw a tiny glimpse of blue in the corner. I was like, I'm like, guys, God, their disaster is coming, and it's in the form of Mafia.
Yeah, no, it's like I said mentioned earlier. The fact I think genuinely what happened there was so cool that they saw the victory and they just tunnel vision on that victory at the end there. Unfortunately for them, and we just managed to have Mafia come in with the decapitator and really clean up here. And as we see here, a bit of an overview of what's going on in this second. What happened there? Hello?
Yeah.
Am I good? Am I okay?
Are you good? Are you alive, Your Honor?
I have no idea what happened there, but you know, Group B, round 4, a bit of a review of current standings here. And I do believe we are still waiting on a few folks to finish up their matches, so we're going to be going on a quick break here as people ratchet things up here. So don't go anywhere just yet, folks. We'll be right back after this break.
Let's look at the font. This is most
Oh, and hello, welcome back to Lowink. I am Fufu, joined by the one and only Dark, bringing you Swiss Round 5 very, very soon. Say hi, Dark.
Hello. I briefly thought about just leaving it in silence just to mess with you, but I was like, no, let me. we are so.
Why you, bro? Why'd you back out?
Cause I gotta make an impression too. You're not the only one here. I gotta do things too. Yeah.
Mon,
yeah.
get this guy out of the VC.
No, I think I'm fine here, especially with what we have going up first here.
Yeah, you want to introduce our teams for us?
Okay, I was letting you do it, but all right, whatever. As we have here for our 5th round, Star Guardians of Chaos versus Misguided Knights. I am familiar with these names as well as some of these players and whatnot. I couldn't tell you what exactly they play, but I'm starting to get to that point where I'm actually starting to remember people, and that's a plus for me.
It's always fun when you recognize a team and you're like, I know that guy. I know that guy.
Uh-huh.
Or thumbs, I don't know. Or you. Just you. I know you. But, so if you know these players, and I'm going to assume it's going to be a good set.
I mean, it's always a good set, really. Whenever I'm here anyways, you know, I gotta...
Well, it's because I'm here, actually. Don't get ahead of yourself now.
Oh,
thank you very much.
What are we doing, man? What are we doing?
Dude, yeah, let's get this guy out of here.
Hey, me? I'm trying to do my job here.
So we're gonna bury him with the ruins here at Amami Ruins Splat Zones. I like this map a lot. Do I actually? Do I like this map a lot? I don't know. It's very interesting, and I think both of the... Yeah, because you're a loser. Anyways, I think both of these teams are, if they're able to realize that the mid is controlled by the actual middle thing in the middle, I love you, Dark, then I think that's a team that's going to have profit. Also, there is a heavy, just heavy, not even an edit, just a heavy on the side of Misguided Knights.
Yeah, it's funny. The last time I've seen a heavy splat link, I had to pull myself back so many times from continuing on with heavy edit. Just forgetting that it's actually just heavy this time around, but I'm very curious to see exactly what the actual plan is for this heavy splat link. It's not a weapon we see a lot of at all, really. Star Guardians of Chaos does have a good solid hold in mid here, gets the first few points on the board for them. Captain using it to try and slow down the Misguided Knights as they're on their incoming here, but it is a 1-for-1 trade in here between these two teams.
Yeah, what's going in DSC? That crab from Misguided Knights is finally active, but you know, when you have a dread under you, threatening you very decent, it's a little bit hard. But Paper being forced to jump out, I don't know how you live that. Setting themselves back to spawn. Booyah Bomb coming up from not Misguided Knights, that's Star Guardians of Chaos, but Misguided Knights seems to be able to ignore that and start to neutralize and capitalize on both zones, getting some points on the board for themselves.
Yeah, good flip here from Misguided Knights to give those penalty points to Star Guardians of Chaos and get a few points of their own here in the process. Now they're looking to try and see exactly how they want to play out this next portion of this team fight to try and flush them out, try and hold the ground as best they can. Booyah Bomb was used to try and stall out the zone here to prevent them from running away with too many points here. And it looks like Star Guardians of Chaos are doing whatever they can to try and flip the zones into their favor here. But there's so many scrambling players, so many people across the map wide. It's just hard to keep track of who is exactly where. Misguided Knights is still on top of things though, and they're looking to steal the lead.
Yeah, and the lead has been stolen indeed. We have a crab here in the center trying to make a little bit of thing, not quite able to find as much as they had hoped. There's a lot of specials coming out on the field, but I feel like we're playing a little bit of real around the rosy with both of these. You know, you had a Booyah Bomb, you had a crab, you had a hammer. What else could we have? But Misguided Knights still remains in control of the zone, continuing to get points on the board, not really letting up. Star Guardians of Chaos is starting to bring out resources of their own, and I want you to notice how they're positioned. Just everyone is taking every corner that they can.
Yeah, it's a multi-angled approach here from Star Guardians of Chaos, but it doesn't really pan out too well as Misguided Knights just managed to bunker down and keep them away from things. And now Release are going in to bring on the aggressive here to try and fully flush Star Guardians of Chaos out. Misguided Knights knows the win condition here. There's only 10 ticks remaining, and with their specials, they're able to keep them out from the mid here so they can ride and cruise this way to victory without any contest. But Star Guardians of Chaos does not want to let it go without any fight. They're looking to try and play both angles as best they can, keeping it alive for a little bit longer, buy some extra time, but it was not, unfortunately, enough.
Not enough indeed. Misguided Knights still remaining in control enough to see it all the way through. They did really good, even when Star Guardian of Chaos were in really good positions. There's a point where I genuinely thought they were going to retake just because of how well they were positioned, but it looks like they were able to just find the hole, see it through, and continue to hold the zone, take it home.
Yeah, I really like what Misguided Knights did there. Once they got set up, they had proper special unit rotation to really keep Star Guardians of Chaos in check. There was a few moments where Star Guardians of Chaos managed to break through and make things a little bit shaky there, but Misguided Knights really held their ground and really kept things just under control from once they had control of that mid. And it really was a hard thing to see how Star Guardians of Chaos didn't really have a good answer to keep to flush Star Guardians or to flush Misguided Knights out properly there. And I think that's something that's going to be important here, especially going to tower control, Hagglefish Market. The big area to really keep in mind that you want to try and flush people out of is those tanks like overlooking the zone.
That too. You know, that's where the anchor like to position the tents. But even then, Hagglefish. We're not on zones. We're on tower control about.
Yeah.
I think it's also going to be seeing the change of pace of how they listen. I'm here. I promise.
What?
Listen. Tower control sets the pace for you. Yeah, open your ears, bro. Open more. Tower control sets the pace for you. So while they chose their own pacing, you know, it's pretty consistent on flat zones. Now you're gonna oh yeah, there's a moving objective. It should be fine. They should be fine, right? No biggie. No snowballs, right? Right? Totally, right.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing you always gotta look out for this map mode in specific. It's just they can really spiral out of control so fast. Like, how many times you pass that second checkpoint? That's when things really start falling apart for most teams, or most players, you know. And that's not to say like, oh, that's where you're really gonna be like, oh, if you don't hold it there, you're bad at the game. No, it's just the nature of the game, you know, because usually getting that second checkpoint means you have a clear corner there, being able to get to that third checkpoint without any issue and being able to just clean it up from there. So really, it's up to how well these teams are gonna be holding those ramps before that second checkpoint here. And I am intrigued by specifically the Inkling tri-stringer here on the side of Star Guardians of Chaos. Not a weapon you see at all, really.
I don't know how I feel about the choice, just because of how tight it gets towards the later parts of the game. But I'm going to trust the process for now and see how it goes. But Star Guardians of KDS are going to be the first team to lose a player on their side, and Misguided Knights, you know, taking the initiative and taking the tower really early on, and just opting to snowball it through the heavy, getting a really nice pick as well. This is an insane start of the game here, especially for Misguided Knights, who's running off the momentum of last game, and they are not showing any signs of stopping.
Yeah, no cap. Boy, did a shorting well job of zoning and applying pressure, and at least they managed to get that first checkpoint out of the way before 3 going down from Misguided Knights. Now Star Guardians of Chaos looking to try and fish for that last player standing. Does get the hook there, and now with a delayed wipeout on their side, Star Guardians of Chaos looking to try and open up this this mid here so they can get this first checkpoint without any issues. I do believe that, unfortunately, those super chumps were a bit wasted there, not being able to apply much pressure to anyone there, but it is not, doesn't really matter too much at the end of the day, though. With the Booyah Bomb and the Krabbenbande and the Killer Whale, they're able to clear that first checkpoint with ease.
You know, yeah, beautiful lead swap there for Star Guardians of Chaos, who is really giving Misguided Knights a taste of their own medicine, and they are reaching almost a point of no return if Misguided Knights is not careful with their resources now. But those chumps are coming out much better placed this time around, able to find one on each team, and this tower continue to move forward. It's getting a little too close to the final checkpoint, Dark, and it might just clear it if they're lucky. I'm not even lucky anymore. They're just that goated. I think this might be a knockout.
Yeah, and see, this is what I was talking about. They had that corner cleared as they were passing that second checkpoint, and that's when things really start to unravel. You know, past that second checkpoint, you have the clear area to get that third checkpoint with ease, and once you clear that third checkpoint, there's only a handful of points left remaining, so you clear the third checkpoint, you're done with the game as is. It's just, once again, that something like that really isn't a like you can't say Misguided Knights was bad for how they played it out. No, that's just how that game is, and that's just how that map is played there. It's like there really isn't much you can do unless you actually like play for your exposures off with that corner.
It's just also playing your fights. Like, it's because it's so tight. It's just like, if you take one fight wrong, it could spell the end of the game for your entire team. Like, everyone has to make sure they are where they need to be at all times on that defense, because the game can end really just that fast. And things are gonna get a little chaotic because we're gonna be on Crab Rainmaker. I haven't seen this map mode specifically in a fat second. I'm kind of excited. It is pretty open for what it is. I like playing on this map personally, just know how open it is, and you can just smack people in the grates. You be like, ooh, you want to walk on grates? No, you don't. You go back to the spawn point. You don't need to be here.
Yeah, no, this map I also haven't seen that much. In all honesty, Rainmaker here is a bit awkward because you do have the two different routes, right? It's actually kind of like Undertow in that way, where you have the left route and the right route. The left route, I think anyways, is a lot more used in the right route, simply because the right route is like over grades and a lot more dangerous, but it does score faster points. So it's just a matter of like, do you want to try and do the gambit with the right route, or do you want to try and stay with the consistency of the left route, being able to jump from there? And it's just each route has both the pros and cons though, because on the other hand, though, the left route does go from low ground to high ground if you're trying to push past that, which can be a bit hard to do.
Yeah, it's like most people opt to choose the right route just because it's like, okay, there's a little more space, you know, yada yada yada. But yeah, last ditch efforts usually are on that left side, and I'm curious to see how this is going to go. Both of these teams definitely have the potential to run with a lot of momentum, and I think Star Guardians are looking pretty good after last match, and they can continue that momentum that we saw, especially the clap back after Misguided Knights' original push. I'm pretty excited to see how this is gonna go, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I am also very excited. As we see, there really isn't that many major changes here. I do believe E is bringing out the V-dualies this time around, which I don't think was in the last previous games, but I may be wrong on that end. A good opener from Star Guardians of Chaos, though, using the Krabbenbande to slow down Misguided Knights, zone them out, convert 3 off that, and potentially able to get this checkpoint right out the gate. Krabbenbande being using Misguided Knights, though, does shut that down.
Yeah, the first, checkpoint for Star Guardians of Chaos here, but that Booyah Bomb is getting shattered immediately. Actually still going off, surprisingly. But Misguided Knight still continues to hold this defense pretty strong, getting that Rainmaker pop of their own, and opting to hopefully get that out of there pretty soon and make sure no one in teal is going to be sneaking past them to put that in the checkpoint, especially when they have a brush acting. Well, little brush and spawn.
Yeah, Kenji attempted to jump down and get that pick, but is ultimately shut down. But in the midst of this chaos, Misguided Knights gets 3 down. It does go down 3. Star Guardians of Chaos now looking to try and get things going once again, opting the right route this time around to try and get those fast and easy points. But the checkpoint still needs to be broken, and they did break through at the very least.
It is broken. That checkpoint is very much broken. You said it still needs to be broken.
And you heard what I said. They got that at least.
That's amazing. Conflicting words, Art. How dare you? How dare you?
Hey, we got a job to do.
Oh, right, we have a job to do. But that being said, the Rainmaker does remain in Star Guardians of Chaos' lead, and they're able to get nice sit down in the end off of that. We gotta get these rolling. We gotta get these rolling. Give a bit of it, I said.
Yeah. Oh man, and this actually looking kind of dangerous for Misguided Knights. Star Guardians of Chaos able to pick up the Rainmaker and really put in a lot of points on their side and keep the momentum going on their side. The only player that was actually lost was the Rainmaker carrier, Kenji here, looking to try and be a harassing player here to pull some attention, divert some of that attention away from the Rainmaker. But I think it's a bit of a futile effort there because there really isn't a lot of space for them to move past at that point. And I think Star Guardians of Chaos recognized that, chose to just leave the Rainmaker with Misguided Knights and try and see how they want to play this re-engagement from them.
And you know, playing this nice and slow is never a bad idea either. You know, slowly getting the space taken. That brush is, you know, causing a little mayhem. So it looks like some plans are being delayed. As the brush alone took 2 people down, 3 people, I guess. Who's letting the 4 people? Oh my God, that's so rough.
That could have been such a huge swing for Kenji there to keep things under control for Star Guardians and Chaos. Misguided Knights is still managing to keep their cool here in mid. 2 minutes remaining on this map here. There's about a 42-point differential between these 2 teams, so it's a bit of a big mountain to climb for Misguided Knights if you want to try and close that gap there. But it is not impossible. That the points can be really fast here depending on which routes you go. And looking for the opener to get that checkpoint out of the way, at the very least, Misguided Knights takes the left route immediately.
Yeah, and you can see just the members of Star Guardians of Chaos rushing towards that side, able to win the Rainmaker pop and take off one of the members of Misguided Knights while they're at it. But I like this, using the ink route to get themselves closer to their goal points. But the thing is, Star Guardians of Chaos can play this however they want. They have the lead and they have enough space to see it forward. But just as I say that, they are wiping out, giving Misguided Knights the opportunity to actually get a bunch of points on their own if they can sustain the momentum and the space that they just got.
Ooh, trying to meet the incoming Rainmaker. Star Guardians and Chaos manages to hold the front line, pushes the Rainmaker back and back for Kenji to come in, swoop in, get the splat, and stop that push there. And now there's only 1 minute remaining on this game for it's 1-1 on each side. So this is definitely when things are definitely going to start heating up here.
Yeah, the stakes are incredibly high for these teams, especially for those that want to make it to the Alpha bracket tomorrow. I think a lot of teams are looking in Misguided Knights' favor. You know, not Misguided Knights, excuse me, sorry. Star Guardians of Chaos' favor. You know, they're still able to have a pretty solid hold of the map, and even when it comes down to the defense, as we saw the last couple of times, Misguided Knights weren't really able to completely push past Star Guardians of Chaos. So I still believe this match is in their favor, unless Misguided Knights wants to prove me wrong right now.
Yeah, no, Star Guardians of Chaos knows the win condition that Misguided Knights wants to go here. They're looking to try and play it slow and steady, not lose too many players in these last few seconds where those players lost could be crucial there. Kenji coming in, the loop around with a heavy splatling, gets the pick, and I do believe that's going to seal the deal for Star Guardians of Chaos being able to win this 3rd game over Misguided Knights.
I can also mention Kenji really going for that crab. But what was out for blood? Like, bro was seeing red. Like, the game is yours already, and you already won another pig. Bro said, I want to pat my stats. That's insane work. But no, yeah, Star Guardians of Chaos are going to be taking home this set in a 2-1 fashion. Beautiful reverse sweep, I would say.
Yeah, it was a very good a very good viewing of Star Guardians of Chaos being able to adjust from Misguided Knights from that first game. Even some of them in that second game as well, being able to recognize what they're doing and just employ those strategies here for this third game. But man, it was still a very fun set to watch nonetheless. Both these teams did a very incredible job, and I am eager to see exactly how things pan out for their third and final round coming up here shortly.
Technically 6th round. Actually.
Third and final round for our block, Fufu. Keep up with the program.
Oh my god, you keep up with the program. If you thought for 2 seconds, maybe we would have realized it. That's so mean. It's round.
Yeah?
That's a little mean, even for me. I apologize, Dart.
Now you apologize. You said many things to me, and that's what you apologize for?
There's a difference. There's a difference, man. Like, I felt mean, so I want... Or I could be mean. I don't know. It's whatever you want, man. You tell me.
Now you're gonna try to flip this on me, huh?
Yeah, it's okay.
Fufu, talk about the screen.
I can make fun of you. Well, look at that. We got Group B round 5. We just had Group A round 5 2 seconds ago. It looks like we have a couple matches that are still taking place. We have 5 matches that we're still waiting on the Group B side of things, but we have to wait for all of our matches to be done before we can move on to round 6. So that's why you're wondering, why is there a little bit of a wait between our rounds? That is why we have to wait for everyone to finish, and then we can go ahead and get our games for round 6. And as I say that, the screen updated, and we only have 3 left on Group B. Unsure about Group A, but once those are done, we'll be back.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and servers in between. My name is Zark. I'm here with Fufu, and with our final round of Swiss for the day. We're going to be watching here Disgusting Pickup Team versus Magic Beans.
Both of these team names are hilarious. I kind of like this. Magic Beans is actually kind of peak. I vote Magic Beans for like the team name this time around because look at that. Magic Beans. I also like eating beans, so if you make the magic, then...
I mean, me and you, like...
I was avoiding saying it, man. I was avoiding saying it. That's on you! That's on you!
I'll take that. I'll take that with a badge of pride. What are you talking about? Anyways, our first match of this setup. We're gonna be seeing here where we're gonna be starting. Oh, please get the match up so we can talk about that. We gotta move on from this. We gotta move on from this. Here we go. Clamlin Scorch Gorge is our first match of this set here.
Dark, we're not escaping the allegation because this is the hometown map right here in the desert.
Yeah.
This is our desert map.
Wait,
this is
allegations for who?
map.
You? Okay.
Me, bro. Yes, me. Obviously. Duh.
Oh
anyway.
no.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, but I'm so sorry. Oh my god. Anyway, Scorch Clamblitz. Yeah, I don't like the mid on this map. I don't like it.
I don't think it's that bad, in all honesty. I think it's funny and quirky. But other than that, I think really a lot of the gameplay around here is gonna be revolving around how well these teams can control these ramps leading up to the clam baskets. That's really where I think a lot of the time is gonna be. I mean, yeah, mid's important to like get control of you know, mid, right? But in order to apply that pressure to get those points on the board, you do need good ramp control either as the attacker or the defender here. And I'm very intrigued by the Swirl Umbrella pick here from Disgusting Pickup Team, especially against the S-Blast. That's going to be a bit of a hard matchup.
Yeah, it looks like Magic Bean's comp definitely is a little extra going into Disgusting Team Pickup, but it looks like the fights are finally breaking out in mid, and this Slosher is against the World, and the World has won, as that is going to be 2 down. No, there's going to be 1 down on each side. This is kind of weird positioning from both of these teams here, but it looks like Magic Beans isn't able to really win their fights here in mid, giving Disgusting Team Pickup the opportunity to make an early score, possibly. Yep, there it goes, in it goes, and whether it's just the 1 power clam or the 2, it's going to keep going. Look at these picks. Look at that Jet. The Jet is dead.
Yeah, no, I like the Jet used there to try and make some space and pull some attention to get those few extra clams, because who knows, knowing Clam Blitz and how like often it just ends up being a stalemate from the rest of the game, that very well could have been the game-winning push there, whether you like this game mode or not here. But it is very. What am I watching? The clan, Splatoon fighting the umbrella.
No, I feel a little bad because bro opened the tent umbrella as soon as the bomb went out, and I just saw it and I was like, oh honey, you're dead. There's no saving you anymore. And you know, I honestly thought that umbrella was ready to like dip the world, but Disgusting Team Pickup is kind of doing some sillies and they're kind of getting away with it at the same time, and it kind of scares me at the same time because like, hey, how are we getting away with this?
Yeah, Magic Beans is really. I mean, there really isn't a solid hold from either side. They're both these teams are scattered right now, trying to fight for control of mid here, trying to fight for their pressure on their side. But as I say, that Magic Beans does get the first footing here and trying to get their push going on their side. The clam economy is there at least. We see Town going back for this pity clam to pick it up to try and go for a jump in throw here. The clam basket is open. That's going to be a huge cash in, and the lead is shotgun just like that with a fast to clear the space as well. A 33-point remaining on your first push is very good.
Yeah, but the only consequence of that 33-point push is that now Disgusting Team Pickup has wiped Magic Beans out, and they're going to be ready to get a push of their own. Seeing that Power Clam active and already seeing themselves under the basket. It looks like we might have moved a little bit too fast as all of the members of Disgusting Team Pickup are wiped out themselves, giving Magic Beans that very, very successful defense, and again, another opportunity for them to get a push in.
Yeah, they're looking to maybe just try and extend their lead even further, or just make sure they can keep the status quo in their favor. Resider coming in from both sides. The disgusting Resider there goes through the hammer and takes the pick. Magic Beans, unfortunately, overextended it a little bit as a result of that. And now things are back to where they were beforehand. A bit of a stalemate and a constant fight for mid-town, though, with the Tetra Duelist comes in and closes the distance.
Yeah, closing the distance indeed against the edit is incredibly ballsy, and I respect it. And you know, no team really has a solid hold, but as I say that, Magic Beans is actually going to get another ball in the basket, but that is not going to be sustained. It's probably going to be another wipeout, and you know, there goes the bell. Discussing team pick out, wiping Magic Beans. I don't know. It feels very back and forth, despite the leads being very, you know who at the, who's here to win. For both of these teams, really, but it's so weird. It's a weird match.
Yeah, no, it's just a lot of explosive back and forth trades between these two teams here. Discussing pickup team, though, is able to get their footing yet again here to try to close the distance between these lead. Inkling is online to clear the space for their clan basket to close that lead. There's only one Power Clan needed to take the lead, and that they do. The recall here is going to get them. Unfortunately, they do manage to protect the recovery, though, and keep themselves alive to get an additional clan into the clan basket. And now with 1 minute remaining, it's up to Magic Beans to see if they can potentially close that distance here.
Yeah, I blinked and like the lead was swapped. That was kind of insane. Discussing team pickup definitely now has that lead to defend. It's pretty fragile, one could say, because it takes a power clam and some extra clams to really swap the lead at any point for Magic Beans. So my discussing team pickup has around 40 seconds to defend this or possibly. Oh my god! Are you kidding me? That is see. Nutty, you're kind of insane, man. That was like the biggest Bane play move I've seen, and it looks like Magic Ninja is going to be fulfilling the prophecy and is going to be trying. Oh, the shorter clam dark.
Oh, yeah, that was almost too dicey for them. But Magic Beans kept them cool, close the lead, and potentially can close the game here if they can just get that one power clam left. No, but there's not enough time for them. The disgusting pickup team needs to move now to try and take this game in overtime if they want to win here. But there's such a huge point cap difference, though. There's 29 points remaining on top of their penalty points. It's going to be a hard thing to do here.
It's going to be incredibly difficult for discussing team pickup as well as the time continues to tick down. I don't think they're going to have enough time to put this ball into the basket, and with the hammer from Nutty putting that in its place, no one is alive under the basket of Magic Beans, and that is going to seal the game. Magic Beans, their sploosh just saved them like twice. That sploosh is putting in work for Magic Beans, because there's no way bro got away with that much.
Yeah, no, Nutty with the sploosh-o-matic is kind of nutty. Like, if you really think about, a lot of that happened was because of their plays there, being able to do what they do best and just clear the area, get the picks they need, move in quickly. At the end there, especially, just what's the word? Just completely being able to snuff out that dream of discussing pickup team of a buzzer beater potential overtime victory and overtime time extension there. It really was glorious.
Glorious indeed. I'm like, if I was Nutty there, I'd have 2 clips. I'd have 2 clips to run. Right then there. My jaw's on the floor because that was just so clean. Like, I could see the animatic in my head. Yo, you don't even gotta tell me twice.
Yeah.
It's drawn in my mind, in my head. I'm obviously can't draw, but like if I could, whoa. That being said,
says the artist.
I have tendinitis.
I know, man. That's not the angle I was going for.
Oh my god!
Oh
Anyways,
my god!
Splatoon's Robo Ramen, Your Honor. I like this mode, and I want to see if Magic Beans is going to be pulling the same magic that they pulled out last game. Come on, show us some goodies.
Yeah, no. To keep up the food theme here, beans and ramen, and just kind of good, kind of not. I don't know. I never had tried it before. It could work out though. Yeah? Go on?
No. I don't
No?
want to. No.
Well, don't complain then. here on Robo Robin,
you're
we
so
could
lucky
see
I'm like,
Nutty. We could see Nutty return once again on the Splatoon-matic, and honestly, kind of might surprise me if Nutty doesn't come back with the Splatoon-matic, you know, because you have that big painting power. But a lot of these walkways and a lot of these routes to the zone and around the zone are kind of narrow, and it's kind of perfect for a hammer to come in and really wreak havoc there.
No, yeah, for sure. And, you know, that's what a lot of people liked about this map, especially when it releases, that we had flank routes. And that is definitely one of the selling points of this map. And, of course, anchors can still function as well because a lot of the mid is, you know, overseen by your anchors. And we're going to be seeing the heavy edit, which is an interesting choice on this map. I know heavy edit doesn't feel the best on this map, especially compared to your Charger sisters. But I could still definitely see this working. We are losing the tent umbrella on the side of Magic Beans, though.
Yeah, losing the tent umbrella, I'm not sure how good of an option that is, considering you don't really have a good way to deal with backlines other than relying on your Splatoon-matic Nutty to throw the hammers at the heavy edit here, which could be kind of problematic if you get set up here, like they probably most likely are going to be able to set up here against Magic Beans, slowly getting pushed back further and further. And now a good set from this disgusting pick team looking to try and stall out those points as best they can, as long as they can. But somewhere from behind, Magic Beans disrupts the flow and pulls the attention away from that hold.
You know, and they're giving that umbrella exactly what they want. You know, pulling two members away from the objective and from the front. But, you know, discussing team pickup is going to manage to get out of that relatively unscathed, still having the zone in their favor and not really suffering many players down. I think this could potentially be 100-0 if they continue to keep this space in their favor. But those strikes from Magic Beans, but that just saved them. I think that could have very well said we just won the game right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Magic Beans throwing everything they can to stick to the wall, and it's not enough. Disgusting pickup team gonna be able to set once they get probably set up, because gonna run away with this show, with the game, with this set here, in this match here, as they take the set 1-1 and a clean 100-0.
Beautiful, beautiful 1-1 of the score there. I just want to say we saw the exact moment that the game was over.
Yeah.
We saw the exact moment the game was over. The second we saw two go down, they were like, yeah, that's it. The game's done. The specials went out one after the other, but not in the chain we're together way, but in you are going by yourself way. And I think that was just part of the panic that Magic Beans had, seeing that the score was getting so low that everyone just threw everything away and just started throwing themselves at the objective. And discussing team pickup able to read on that and be like, okay, well, we're not gonna let that happen. So, death.
Yeah,
that was good. That was really good.
That really was good. And I think what unfortunately happened for Magic Beans there, I think I kind of want to point out specifically, was it was towards the end there when Nutty was going around the flank, especially with Hammer Online, and they popped it and it got canceled. I think that's really what caused it there. That was a bit of an overextension there, especially fighting against Umbrella as a shooter. You got to be very careful, and I think something that kind of gets overlooked is how long it actually takes for the hammer to actually get going once you pop the special. I mean, it's something that even I forget from time to time, and and so it's like, it was very interesting to see like the exact moment where we were like, yeah, that was really what sealed their fate there.
Yeah, it's always, we have the overhead view, so it's just, we see the slow-moving train wreck, or faster-moving train wreck, knowing how Splatoon is. It's kind of insane to just get the read that early. But that being said, that means there will be a tiebreaker on Tower Control Inkling Art Academy, which I think it could well go either way. Very much depends on the first team that is going to be approaching the enemy territory, which is usually the second checkpoint. I forget where this checkpoint lies. I swear I know Tower Control guys are checkpoint that marks the start of a potential snowball on this map, and this map is probably one of the most straightforward that we have for tower control. So a lot of teams are knocking out pretty quickly, or we get stuck in mid. So, you know, you pick your poison here.
Yeah, no, and I think the other thing too about this map specifically, more so that might even be a problem than it was for the second map, is the fact that Magic Beans last game didn't really have a good answer towards backlines. You know, when you get that heavy edit, if we see the heavy edit again, or if a different backline set up on the tower and you have the rest of if you have the rest of this disgusting pickup team moving in front to clear the space, you don't really have the range to really answer that. And we do see the Tenebra come back here in the second game, but importantly, it's not the one with Trizuka. Again, they're lacking tools to fight against disgusting pickup team if they get properly set up with their backline.
I think they definitely have the tools. It's just a matter of how it's being used, because the hammer can still be useful, and so can the Reef and Booyah Bomb. They have the resources. It's just a matter of putting them to use. But Magic Beans is going to be the first team to get the first advantage in getting this tower moving. We are having only one player on the plan. Make that two. Seeing the hammer ready and causing a little bit of mayhem. The tower remains in position. I thought they left the tower. The tower remains moving, but people are dying left and right on each side, I think.
Yeah, that was an explosive opener from both of these two sides. Magic Beans, though, did manage to clear that first checkpoint without any issues there, looking and managed to get a few extra points on top of that. But now it is a disgusting pickup team's turn to try and get things rolling in their favor. A bit of a just chaotic scramble from either side once again. Zipcaster, we see Ink back, we see all sorts of specials being popped there. But at the end of the day, it is disgusting pickup team that comes out on top, and they are looking to try and see how they want to move forward here.
Yeah, and I have to give some props to Delta, because Delta, one, stayed alive as long as they did, and two, had an insane Zipcaster on a slosher of all things. So I gotta give some props where props are due. But that being said, the tower is covered in pink, and it looks like, whoa, what? I blinked, bro. I blinked, and suddenly, people are dying. 3 down on Magic Beans. Make that a wipeout in the favor of disgusting pickup team, and they're going to be looking to get some points for themselves. The leads are incredibly fragile at the moment, so it is very likely that this lead will swap if these resources are used efficiently.
Yeah, no, important thing to note here was that first checkpoint was already taken, so this lead is going to get swapped without any issue there. Looking to try and extend their lead even further as they head to that second checkpoint, going down for a 1-for-1 trade. 3 down for the disgusting pickup team means that Magic Beans is able to hold the line at the very least here. It is not a big gap to close here, but it could still be a little bit tricky, because now you're going to be moving into a more set up disgusting pickup team on their side of the territory. But luckily for them, they do get the 2 picks that they need to potentially get the momentum moving. But no, disgusting pickup team on the back line gets this tower moving, coming down with these spells here to clear this path, clear the area as they get the test the second checkpoint yet again.
We have so many resources being used for discussing pickup team, but what is gonna get them past this checkpoint? And Nutty being Nutty is taking 2 down, trying to make it 3. Dude, I was about to say, if Nutty gets they're picking a fight, and you don't pick a fight with Nutty because Nutty's gonna take you out, and Nutty
5. That was 5.
Streak. That was 5.
That was 5.
That's crazy, like.
No,
Dude.
Nutty being absolutely nutty yet again. Keeps Magic Beans points alive, gets a huge swing against disgusting pickup team, and is still on this rampage, just keeps going and going and going. 2 down once again with disgusting pickup team, as Magic Beans now moving on to their second checkpoint. Booyah Bomb looking to throw them at bats so they can clear the area. This hammer being thrown at bats to clear the area, and now no one's going to be able to contest this tower here, as they're already going to be at that second checkpoint, potentially at the lead.
Yeah, and it looks like Delta's going to be making some waves of their own. Taking 3 down, technically, and looking for another here with Town. Not quite able to take Town now, leaving those centers to live another day. But the storm is not over, as this disgusting pickup team is just doing everything they can to get this tower out of their base. And, when you have members of Magic Beans surrounding you, essentially, it gets a little bit tough here, as, you're getting fought here from multiple angles, and these multiple angles could very well lead to the downfall of your team, as, they're able to defend this, and this tower is back in a neutral state.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very much a chaotic game, but that's exactly what Magic Beans needs right now. They need to make sure disgusting pickup team is properly split up and properly coordinated so they can get those picks that they need, and being able to punish a beautiful shield block though from Tensoi as they are looking to try and get the tower, but unfortunately does go down to a hammer throw. Nutty yet again showing their prowess with the Smoosh-O-Matic, and now with only 45 seconds remaining on this game, it's a 1-1 set right now. It can go anyone's game with the 6-point differential. Things are going to be very tight here.
Yeah, and things are heating up once more, as you see how many people are going down on each side, but discussing the pickup team that has just a little bit of that advantage. Things are putting a lot more pink, especially on the side of Magic Beans' basement, and they're very much hungry for this lead, and they will be doing anything they can to get it. Delta with his beautiful, beautiful zip cast, taking 1, looking to try and take more, as they're just losing the remaining of it, but they're going to be taken out on this push. 3 down on this disgusting pickup team. This looks grim dark.
Oh, that's a delayed wipeout for Disgusting Pickup Team with delayed jump outs getting capped and not enough players online for Disgusting Pickup Team. Magic Beans with the lead, with the pain advantage here is getting able to seal the deal here, especially with Booyah Bomb. There's nothing you can do there. That's game, set, and match.
And just like that, the game is over. Magic Beans winning over the tiebreaker in a 2-1 fashion. Beautifully done, beautifully defended there at the end. This was such an intense match.
Yeah, I mean, I think this really was the culmination between these two teams and what they can do here. First game, Magic Beans did a good opener against Disgusting Pickup Team. Disgusting Pickup Team on the second game really got their act together against the initial viewings from Magic Beans and able to just 100-0 them without any issues whatsoever. But now here we see how these two teams are probably adjusted to one another and are looking to try to employ both of their strategies here. And at the end of the day, it was Magic Beans that comes out on top.
Yeah, just what a set. Just what a set. I mean, you know, when you have Persona music playing in the back, that's how you know the day is good. So that is round 6, and that is the last round that all of these teams will be playing today. I would love to take a look at the bracket to see who's going on, because whatever the scores end up after this will be deciding which set of teams will be going to their respective brackets, either Alpha, Beta, or Gamma for day 2.
Yeah, no, this really playoff threes, you know, that especially that last game, a 1-1 scenario, you really want to try and win that game because it could very well, or that set, so you can, because it could very well be the difference between you making alpha bracket or beta bracket or gamma bracket, or maybe qualifying for gamma bracket. You know, all these matches are always very important, no matter how well you cut them here. And so it's always a fun thing to see, especially for the last round of the day. You know, to see exactly how any of these teams are just trying to lock in to try and make sure they make the placements that they want.
Indeed, and you know, we did come out of seeing Magic Beans, and I do want to mention right now they are set to go to Alpha Bracket tomorrow. So these guys will be making their way to Alpha Bracket. Who else did we just see? It was Magic Beans, and I'm looking for. It looks like they are also projected for Alpha Bracket. We are waiting for like the last matches to finish, but if things go according to plan, they are most likely going to end up both in Alpha Bracket. So although one of these teams did go home down a set, it doesn't mean they may not see each other tomorrow.
Yeah, no, that's the other portion of this. You know, we set up the scene, we set up the story from the day one to see exactly how it resolves in day 2, but that is a little bit ahead of ourselves, unfortunately, as we, with that last set, are now done and wrapping up here as IPL's wrapping up day 1 here. So as we're closing out, Fufu, anything else you want to say, add, or plug in?
I think that all these teams are amazing. That's what I do want to say, and I was very glad to be back on the mic with you, Dark. It's always a pleasure. That being said, you guys can find me at @SplatFufu on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Twitch. I am a little bit of a playing and drawing hiatus, but I am still very much commentating, as you guys have heard today. Dark, you're amazing. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on most social media websites at SPFDark. I repost random nonsense from time to time. I stream. I'm starting to pick up my streams now, so keep an eye out for that. It's a bit inconsistent, but I do what I can when I can, right? But more often than not, you'll most likely hear my voice time and time again across the multiple organizations we have here in the community, either here in IPL, Under Pressure, CCA. I'm literally all over the scene, so you'll most likely hear me time and time again. But with that being said, folks, that's a wrap of our... What?
Wait. Our caster, our spec cam. We gotta give a shout out to our spec cam.
Listen, I've been okay. I do love you, Salva, and huge shout out for Salva. I need a little bit of context here. I've been up since 8 a.m. playing nothing but Pokemon since 8 a.m. My brain isn't necessarily all there right now, but that's my excuse. I'm sorry, Salva. I love you, bestie. And yes, huge shout out to someone being our camera for here today. But now, with that being all said and done, folks, we are going to be wrapping things up here for our first day of IPL. So tune in tomorrow as we see what happens next for these players and for these teams. But take care of yourselves and have a good rest of your day.
Bye-bye.